Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal Part 196 to 200 based on novel. So let's start. The moment the blue-robed man died, the gate of the altar closed. Although Wang Lin's expression was calm, his heart was shaken as he looked at the five-colored butterfly flapping next to him. After pondering for a moment, Wang Lin lifted his right hand to form a seal and carefully pressed it toward the butterfly. The butterfly's wings paused and then turned into specks of five-colored light that slowly dispersed. After a moment, it turned back into the god-slaying war chariot. Wang Lin's heart relaxed and sweat came out from his forehead. The feeling of cold sweat was very rare for him. However, the scene of a peak corporeal young cultivator's body and origin soul completely collapsing from just a flap of the butterfly's wing shocked him greatly. With this god-slaying war chariot and the wither Dao pair, I can battle Nirvana Scryer cultivators. Wang Lin's eyes shined brightly as he looked around. The chosen immortal clan members returned to normal after the middle-aged man died. Their eyes were filled with sorrow and they silently pondered on the ground. In the distance, Ta Shan returned with injuries. He was holding a big pot in his hand. He had managed to capture the fog beast that went after the children. However, he was very injured, so after he came back, he fell into a coma. Time flashed by and 10 days passed. For these 10 days, Wang Lin lived with the chosen immortal clan. The ancestor had prepared a quiet place for him to stay. During these 10 days, Wang Lin didn't waste time. After a detailed conversation with the old man, Wang Lin felt that his previous guess was 80% accurate. However, this matter was not related to him. Wang Lin's focus was on how to leave this place. Wang Lin had already been to the end of the sky. It was just as Ta Shan had said, the end of the sky was a boundless wall of flesh. However, blue light penetrated the wall of flesh, making it look like a real world. Aside from the sky, Wang Lin had searched the entire continent, but he still hadn't found an exit. At this point, Wang Lin was convinced that the formation inside the mysterious yin furnace at the altar was the way out. Ignoring the spirit of the mysterious yin furnace, there was also that blue-robed man. All of this makes this entire place very strange. That blue-robed man claimed he was a celestial and the power he used was similar to celestial spiritual energy, but it also contained the aura of origin energy. It was very similar to Celestial Lord Qing Shuebak in the Thunder Celestial Realm. Adding on the reaction of the chosen immortal clan members, it is very likely that the blue-robed man was a real Celestia. As Wang Lin pondered, he walked out from his room and disappeared. He reappeared at a plain on the eastern side of the continent. Just as he appeared, there was a cheerful cry. The mosquito beast flew in the sky, and after circling a few times, it flew toward Wang Lin. The thunder toad's body that was like a small mountain was lying in the grass in the distance. It opened its eyes to look at Wang Lin before closing them once more. There was not even a shadow of Shu Ligua. He had already gone to who knows where to look for fun. When the mosquito closed in, Wang Lin revealed a smile and patted the mosquito's head. The mosquito revealed a comfortable expression as it flew into the air once more. Wang Lin stepped forward in the grass, and a moment later, he arrived at an open area about 1,000 feet wide. The grass here had been cleaned out and replaced with gulches. These gulches intersected and formed a complex image, as if it was a formation. Wang Lin didn't even look at the gulches on the ground before stepping inside. He sat down at the center of the formation. Ever since Wang Lin had released the Thunder Toad and Mosquito Beast, he hadn't taken them back and let them move around freely. As for Shu Ligua, Wang Lin was too lazy to care. This was a place Wang Lin had found to cultivate. After removing the grass, he placed a restriction formation here. With the mosquito beast and thunder toad guarding, there was a certain degree of safety. As he sat there, Wang Lin's hand formed a seal and pressed down on the formation. There was a flash of light and then everything disappeared and was replaced with a field of grass. No matter how far or close you were, you wouldn't be able to see that this place was fake. Even if you stepped inside, everything would appear normal. After activating the formation, his eyes lit up. During his trip to the Thunder Celestial Realm, he had managed to obtain a lot among all the dangers he had faced. However, he hadn't had time to refine any of them since he left. Originally, he planned to go to planet Qingling after leaving the Thunder Celestial Realm to refine the treasures, but he didn't expect to be sent here. Right now I must refine the treasures I obtained in the Thunder Celestial Realm to strengthen myself. That way, the road to leaving here will be smoother. While Wang Lin pondered, he touched his bag of holding and a suit of leather armor appeared. The skin used to make this armor was very rough and there were some runes on it. While holding the leather armor, Wang Lin's left hand gently touched it. Ancient god leather armor. Wang Lin silently stared at it for a moment before he threw it into the air. Then he spat out a mouthful of essence origin energy. A white flame suddenly appeared and surrounded the armor. The leather armor showed no change inside the flame. However, not only did Wang Lin not stop, he spat out more essence origin energy. The previous owner was very likely Master Carefree. Although he was dead, his cultivation was very strong. Even now, there was still a trace of broken yet independent divine sense on the armor. If another 10,000 years had passed, I fear the broken divine sense on the leather armor would have awakened by itself. It would produce its own consciousness and become the new spirit of the ancient god leather armor. At Wang Lin's cultivation, he was able to see through the core of some matters. Although not all treasure spirits were formed like this was how most were formed. The essence origin energy surrounded the ancient god leather armor and time slowly passed. This was a very slow process. After all, the previous owner was extremely powerful and far stronger than the current Wang Lin. Although the divine sense was broken, it couldn't be underestimated. Most importantly, it had evolved over the countless years and was starting to develop into a treasure spirit. Although the treasure spirit is precious, if it's not removed, the ancient god leather armor will never belong to me and will instead belong to the treasure spirit. It will end up like Rain celestial swords, whose true master is only the spirit inside. Moreover, this is only a fragment of a celestial's divine sense, and it conflicts with the ancient gods. Although they have begun to fuse after countless years, it still isn't enough. Wang Lin's eyes became cold. Then his eyes lit up. He was determined to erase the treasure spirit that hadn't gained consciousness yet. Several days flashed by. On this day, a blue mist came out of the ancient god leather armor that was being refined by Wang Lin. The blue mist moved as if it was under extreme pain, but it was forced out of the leather armor by Wang Lin's essence origin energy. There were strands connecting the blue mist and the ancient god leather armor. At this moment, Wang Lin opened his eyes and they turned cold. He raised his hand and mercilessly chopped down. Heavenly chops flew out. What was chopped was the law. What was chopped were the last connections between the treasure spirit and the ancient god leather armor. The strands broke with a crackle and the blue mist flew into the sky. Wang Lin took out the 1 billion soul flag. It turned into black mist and devoured the blue mist. The ancient god leather armor floated before Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and his divine sense spread out and entered the leather armor, leaving behind his own imprint. This imprint was very strong and the leather armor immediately gave off an ancient aura. This aura was very rich, and it immediately surrounded the area. A vortex immediately formed around Wang Lin. Wang Lin was at the center of the vortex, and he didn't move at all. The moment he left his imprint on the leather armor, a familiar aura surrounded him. This familiar aura came from the leather armor. It was very familiar and kind, like a child that had been wandering for many years that suddenly met his relatives. This was the feeling Wang Lin felt, but it was also the feeling the ancient god leather armor had as well. This was a mutual feeling. The ancient god leather armor didn't need to be summoned by Wang Lin, it flew toward Wang Lin and entered his chest. Wang Lin didn't reject it, and he felt a familiar feeling when the leather armor entered his body. The ancient god leather armor completely entered Wang Lin's body. Then the leather armor wrapped itself around his origin soul. Wang Lin's eyes shined brightly as he took a deep breath and pointed between his eyebrows. There was a flash of light and his origin soul flew out. The ancient god leather armor was almost impossible to see in his ancient dragon form, but Wang Lin could clearly feel that his origin soul's defense had reached a terrifying degree. It is a pity I can't test exactly how much it can withstand, but it can't be weak. Wang Lin's origin soul returned to his body. After refining the leather armor, Wang Lin didn't stop. He opened his mouth and spat out a ray of golden light. The light flashed in the air and turned into a golden lock. This lock was completely gold and it shined brightly. Wang Lin remembered that he took this from one of the messengers of the Thunder Celestial Temple when he charged into the transfer array. That messenger's origin soul was still inside the soul flag. He once said he was going to give up a precious treasure in exchange for his life. While looking at the golden lock, Wang Lin's divine sense surrounded it. After all the time he had spent refining it, Wang Lin easily removed the imprint left by the previous owner. This golden lock immediately became dim as it fell from the sky and was caught by Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he stared at the golden lock in his hand as he muttered, "This item is not bad, but compared to the Wither Dao pair, it is still lacking too much. However, a spell that can seal a person's spell is very interesting. Origin energy filled Wang Lin's right hand and he mercilessly crushed the golden lock. When the golden lock collapsed, the golden light immediately dissipated. The countless fragments scattered on the ground and only a drop of golden liquid remained in Wang Lin's hand. Under Wang Lin's control, the way he crushed it was very ingenious. He destroyed the treasure without damaging the golden liquid inside it at all. If the previous owner had seen this, he would have sucked in a breath of cold air and his heart would have ached. Although that messenger hadn't placed a lot of importance on this treasure, it was something he used often. If it was him, he wouldn't have been willing to crush it. Although that messenger knew that there was something inside that treasure that gave it its abilities, he didn't have the courage to break the treasure to obtain it. In truth, not only him, but if any illusory yin or corporeal yang cultivator saw what Wang Lin had done, their hearts would have ached. After all, if they destroyed their treasure and what they obtained was worthless or was worth less than the origin treasure, then their action would be considered foolish. If a first-step cultivators saw Wang Lin, they wouldn't feel their heart ache. Instead, they would feel shock, a great amount of shock. It has to be said that if this kind of treasure had appeared on planet Suzaku 800 years ago, it would have set off a storm. Even Zhu QZ would have participated. Unconsciously, after 1,000 years of cultivation, Wang Lin had reached such a state. He was willing to crush a treasure like this just to see the spell sealed inside. After 1,000 years of cultivation, not only had his cultivation grown, but also his horizons. There weren't many treasures that could catch his eye. Even if there were any weak treasures in his bag, he only kept them due to special affection or because they had accompanied him through his 1,000 years of cultivation. No matter how weak a treasure was, it must at least be a celestial treasure to catch the fancy of a messenger of the Thunder Celestial Temple, and yet Wang Lin had casually crushed it. Even if it was destroyed, his heart wouldn't have ached for it. While staring at the golden liquid between his fingers, Wang Lin's eyes shined brightly. A crack suddenly opened between his eyebrows and the third eye appeared. Red light quickly fanned out and surrounded the golden liquid. Under the third eye's gaze, the golden liquid slowly dissipated and began returning to its source, but its speed was not fast. After a moment, Wang Lin's third eye dimmed, but only half of the golden liquid had dissipated. It is strange for this to last this long under the third eye. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and the origin energy inside his body rapidly surged into the third eye regardless of the strenuous consumption. The red light from the third eye immediately intensified. The golden liquid started dissipating faster. A moment later, due to Wang Lin's spell, the golden liquid dissipated and turned into countless golden threads. The threads intersected with each other, forming a very complex, golden rune. This rune only lasted for 3 breaths of time before it completely collapsed, leaving nothing between Wang Lin's fingers. Rune, Wang Lin began to ponder as he slapped his bag of holding and the celestial brush appeared. His hand started moving and he began drawing. A moment later, a rune appeared before Wang Lin. This rune was exactly the same as the rune formed by the golden threads. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he looked at the rune. There was no aura coming from the rune and there was nothing special about it. Wang Lin frowned slightly, but then his expression changed as he stared at the rune. A moment later, he closed his eyes and then suddenly opened his eyes with a hint of shock. My divine sense can't detect it. Wang Lin's eyes revealed a decisive gaze as he raised his left hand and pointed at the rune. The rune flew into the air under Wang Lin's control and flew toward the mosquito circling in the sky. The mosquito was happily flying when all of its hair stood up and it was about to dodge. However, under the soothing of Wang Lin's divine sense, it hesitated and didn't move as it stared at the rune that was quickly approaching. The rune flashed and imprinted on the mosquito beast. It immediately shattered into golden liquid and instantly surrounded the mosquito beast. The mosquito struggled and only broke free after a few moments. Then it flew far away as it looked at Wang Lin as if it has been wronged and let out a cry. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. When he used the celestial brush, he had only used 10% of his origin energy, and yet the rune was still so powerful. When he uses all his power to create the rune, its power will definitely increase. Wang Lin put away the celestial brush. After pondering for a bit, he figured out the truth. The true ability of the treasure is this rune. When it was inside the treasure, its full power couldn't be displayed, but with the brush, I can release its true power. If it was someone else, unless they had a powerful spell like the third eye to see the origin, then even if they extracted the golden liquid, they wouldn't be able to do anything. This is the first time I obtained something from a magic treasure like this. Since it functions like a seal, I'll call it the seal rune. Wang Lin raised his right hand to draw it a few more times and engraved it in his heart before putting his hand down. Then he suddenly had a thought. Since this seal rune was extracted from a treasure, then I should also be able to place it into a treasure to increase its power. Wang Lin's eyes revealed a mysterious light and his heart skipped a beat. Most of my treasures were obtained from outside sources and I rarely refine my own. Wang Lin opened his mouth and spat out a grain of sand. The grain immediately became a large fragment stamp. While staring at the fragment stamp, the mysterious light in Wang Lin's eyes became even stronger. This was originally a celestial realm fragment, and it was refined by divine retribution. It wasn't damaged at all when it was attacked by Celestial Lord Qing Shui, so its sturdiness is at its peak. However, this treasure isn't complete, as when it attacks, it simply uses the celestial spiritual energy it possesses to imprison someone. In truth, it's not very strong. It can't compare to the lethal force the Wither Dao pair possesses and definitely can't compare to the third god-slaying war chariot. Wang Lin took out the celestial brush once more and began to draw. After a moment, a seal rune appeared. Now I'll give it a spell. A sealing spell. Wang Lin's right hand suddenly moved and then the rune that appeared flew onto the fragment and fused with it. Wang Lin didn't stop. He flew into the air and continued to draw. One by one, seal runes appeared and landed on the fragment. Wang Lin gradually became faster and faster. His body left after images as he circled the fragment. In the end, he was like a bolt of thunder creating rumbles that echoed across the plain. As Wang Lin became more proficient in creating the seal rune, it went from 1 rune per stroke to more than a dozen rune per stroke, and they all landed on the fragment. Wang Lin didn't feel tired at all during this process and he didn't pause the slightest. The fragment was the only thing that mattered to him while he continued to draw seal runes that fused with the fragment. Wang Lin had placed an unknown amount of seal runes on the fragment when it gave off a pale, golden glow. However, Wang Lin didn't stop. He continued to place seal runes on the fragment one by one. 3 days later, Wang Lin landed on the ground and immediately began to cultivate. His face was slightly pale. During these 3 days of time, he had continuously used origin energy. Even with his cultivation, he had reached his limit. The 1,000-foot fragment had shrunk to about 800 feet. It still gave off a light, golden glow, but it was now a bit darker. After resting for several hours, Wang Lin opened his eyes. His body moved and he began drawing more runes. As time passed, Wang Lin had rested 7 times. The 1,000-foot fragment shrank to 500 feet, 400 feet, 300 feet, until it was only 100 feet wide. The golden light it gave off became even darker. From a distance, it was like a golden sun that gave off a dazzling glow. When he looked at the treasure, Wang Lin's fatigue disappeared instantly. He took a deep breath and his eyes were filled with excitement. After resting a little, he flew out once more, and this time he refined for 5 days. 5 days later, Wang Lin landed on the ground. His face was completely pale and his steps were unstable. However, the excitement in his eyes had reached a peak. From today onward, this is a treasure refined by me. I'll name it Celestial Sealing Stamp. Wang Lin's voice echoed across the sky. Before him was a 3-inch stamp that emitted dazzling light. If a mortal saw this, the golden light would penetrate their eyes and destroy their mind. Even a low-level cultivator would feel his mind tremble and pain would fill his body as if he was being stabbed by countless swords. Even a cultivator with advanced cultivation would feel like their origin soul was being sealed when they saw it. The 3-inch stamp shined brightly and was filled rich celestial spiritual energy. There was also a very powerful sealing aura surrounding it. This stamp was created after Wang Lin spent a month refining it. Wang Lin had roughly calculated that there were no less than 600,000 seal runes in it. More than 600,000 seal runes were fused into the 1,000-foot fragment, and he had condensed it into a 3-inch stamp. Wang Lin was very confident about the power inside this stamp. As he looked at the celestial sealing stamp, his eyes lit up and his hand began to move, placing restrictions on the stamp. The celestial spiritual energy from the stamp was gradually covered up and even most of the seal aura was hidden. A moment later, its power was completely hidden. The treasure that would shock the cultivation world, the celestial sealing stamp, was born. This appearance fits the ideal image of a treasure that I had in my heart. Wang Lin looked at the stamp that looked no different from an ordinary treasure and his eyes lit up. He opened his mouth and the celestial sealing stamp flew into his mouth and was refined by the thunder inside his origin soul. After a long time, this treasure will definitely contain some thunder from my origin soul. After swallowing the stamp, Wang Lin's eyes lit up, then he slapped his bag of holding and 3 purple flags flew out. The purple flags wrapped around each other and released flashes of restrictions. A while back, a messenger of the Thunder Celestial Temple was sealed by Wang Lin along with these 3 flags. Wang Lin's hand formed a seal, and with a point of his finger, the restriction on the 3 flags dissipated. The moment it disappeared, the sealed origin soul of the messenger flew out. His eyes were filled with terror and he attempted to teleport away the moment he broke free. Wang Lin's eyes became cold and he slapped his bag of holding. The 1 billion soul flag flew out and turned into a large, black cloud that devoured the origin soul of the messenger of the Thunder Celestial Temple. Don't kill me, fellow cultivator. I'll trade a valuable treasure for my life, a valuable treasure. The messenger began to struggle inside the black cloud and begged for mercy. Wang Lin's eyes were cold as he slowly said, "What valuable treasure?" The messenger immediately shouted, "An all-heaven stone. I know where fellow cultivator can obtain an all-heaven stone. If you promise to let me go, I'll immediately lead you there." Wang Lin's face showed no expression and his right hand formed a seal. The black cloud immediately devoured the origin soul and sealed it inside the flag. All-heaven stone, Wang Lin pondered for a bit and then no longer thought about. Then his eyes fell on the 3 flags in the air and reached out. When the flags fell into his hand, he spat out essence origin energy to refine them. After wiping the divine sense from them and imprinting his own, Wang Lin put them away and began to ponder. This is a rare protective treasure. After the time it takes for half of an incense stick of time to burn, Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He threw the 3 flags into the air and they began to rapidly rotate around his body. A purple vortex formed, and it contained a certain degree of protection. The origin energy inside Wang Lin's body surged out into the purple vortex and a drastic change occurred. The purple vortex sped up several fold and more purple mist appeared. Soon, Wang Lin's entire body was completely hidden inside the purple mist. After 3 breaths of time, the mist dissipated. Wang Lin waved his right hand and the 3 flags were placed back into his bag. This treasure's power is not bad. Wang Lin touched his bag of holding and 2 yellow talismans appeared in his hand. Even now, Wang Lin still wasn't able to see through these 2 talismans. After carefully looking at them, Wang Lin put them away. After taking a deep breath, Wang Lin's eyes shined brightly. His expression became serious and he spread out his divine sense. After determining there was nothing abnormal within 5 kilometers, he touched his bag of holding. There was a flash of golden light, celestial spiritual energy filled the air, and a palm-sized pavilion appeared in Wang Lin's palm. Even at this moment, Wang Lin's heart still began beating faster and there was excitement in his eyes when his gaze fell on the pavilion. If I were asked what was the biggest harvest I had in the Thunder Celestial Realm, it would be this. The collection pavilion. Wang Lin licked his lips. He had been afraid to take this out after obtaining it, because it was simply too precious. How many celestial spells are inside? Wang Lin's eyes were filled with excitement, but it was forcibly suppressed by him a moment later. With my current cultivation level, I can only enter the 4th floor. Even if I were to use the woman in white to enter the 9th floor, I can't break the restriction inside to obtain the celestial spells. Moreover, this object is too precious and it might have some restrictions on the amount of times I can enter. This place isn't absolutely safe, so I can't carelessly study it here. Wang Lin suppressed the desire in his heart before taking a deep breath and placing it in his bag. However, after hesitating for a moment, he took it out again. He used the seal he learned from back then to make the pavilion shrink until it was only the size of a fingernail. Then he took out a spare bag and placed the pavilion inside. Then he opened his shirt, cut open his chest, and placed bag into his body. The wound quickly healed under his origin energy. This way, no one will know where the collection pavilion is. Wang Lin touched his chest and revealed a smile. There were still several bags of holding on his body that were filled with celestial jades. The amount of celestial jades was simply too large, and all of them were obtained in the Thunder Celestial Realm. After nearly 2 months of time, Wang Lin organized his harvest from this trip to the Thunder Celestial Realm. It is time to leave. Wang Lin stood up and flew into the air. The mosquito beast let out a cheerful cry as it carried Wang Lin toward the buildings. The thunder toad on the ground rolled its eyes and jumped very far with a bang. It followed the mosquito beast on the ground. When they closed in on the living area of the chosen immortal clan, Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. He saw them all gathered at the large square, including the woman and children. At the center of the square was a 30-foot wide wooden platform. There was a person lying on it, and it was Ta Shan. Tarshan's expression was deathly grey and his eyes were dim as if he could die at any time. Death aura had surrounded his body. It was obvious he was near the moment of his death. Upon seeing this, Wang Lin silently pondered. 2 months ago, Wang Lin had already seen that Tarshan was like a lamp without fuel. The slave imprint inside Tarshan was very strong. It was imprinted into his bloodline and it wouldn't allow him to resist. Tarshan could be said to be the first person to resist, but the consequence was that all the tattoos on his body had backlashed at him. It was impossible to continue living like this. He had lasted for 2 months, but today he had reached his end and couldn't survive any longer. Beside Tarshan, the ancestor of the chosen immortal clan was filled with grief. 2 streams of tears flowed down his cheek. The old man softly said, "Grandson." He hadn't called Tarshan this in a long time. The surroundings were completely silent, but there was a powerful sense of sadness that surrounded the area. The people all silently looked at Tarshan and revealed sadness on their faces. "Tarshan. Tarshan." Whispers gradually came from the chosen immortal clan members. This voice fused together and represented the voice of the entire chosen immortal clan. Tarshan. In their hearts, Tarshan was the hero of the chosen immortal clan. When no one could fight against the slave imprint, only Tarshan never yielded. He showed them all that the slave imprint was not impossible to resist. Although, the price of resisting was his life. Tarshan's consciousness was in a trance. His eyes dimmed as he looked at the sky. He vaguely felt like he had returned to his childhood as he listened to the clan members talk. "Celestials are the lords of my clan. Everyone in our clan must dedicate themselves to serving the Celestials. This is our mission and our pride. We are the messengers of the Celestials in this world. This is our glory." Tears came from Tarshan's eyes. He hated that this world was unfair. He hated all Celestials. Wang Lin's body descended from the air and landed at the edge of the square. He silently pondered. The old man looked at Tarshan and mercilessly clenched his teeth. He then suddenly turned around. He looked at the surrounding people and loudly said, "Tarshan is right. For generations we've guarded this place, and what did we get? It was the fog beasts that killed countless members of our clan, and all of this was caused by Celestials. In the eyes of the Celestials, we are only food for the fog beast." The surroundings were completely quiet and the people silently looked at the old man. There was a force brewing and accumulating in their bodies. "Tarshan once told me that Celestials no longer exist. The celestial realm has long collapsed. I have been hiding this matter since he told me, but today I'm telling you all." The old man's eyes were strange. It was a gaze that had almost gone insane. After he said those words, all of the surrounding clan members went into an uproar. This news shocked them greatly and the power brewing in their bodies rapidly increased. "Benefactor, am I correct?" The old man's eyes fell on Wang Lin, who was at the edge of the square. At this moment, everyone looked at Wang Lin, waiting for his answer. Ever since Wang Lin killed that celestial 2 months ago, the old man began calling him Benefactor. Wang Lin silently pondered. A moment later, he nodded and said, "The celestial realm has already collapsed and Celestials no longer exist. If there are any left, they are extremely rare." The old man became excited and shouted, "The celestial realm has collapsed and the Celestials still treat my clan like this. Why should we not revolt? Even if we die, we should die with dignity like Tarshan." His voice was ancient, but it also contained a power that would impact the soul. It pierced through the members of the clan and their eyes all revealed a gaze. It was a gaze of resisting until the end. One that said they'd rather die than be slaves any longer and become food for the fog beasts. "Revolt!" One of the clan members clenched his fist and whispered. After him, even more voices could be heard. "Revolt! Revolt!" One voice after another appeared until it almost formed a storm. As Wang Lin pondered, he looked at Tarshan. After a long time, he whispered, "I can make it so he won't die." Although his voice was soft, when it landed in the ears of the surrounding chosen immortal clan members, especially the old man, their bodies trembled. The old man's eyes filled up with excitement and he walked toward Wang Lin. He knelt down 10 feet before Wang Lin. Tears flowed down his cheeks as he said, "Benefactor, is this true?" Wang Lin pondered a bit and slowly said, "I'm 50% confident. However, if my spell succeeds, then although Tarshan won't die, he will become a puppet without consciousness. Whether he can regain his consciousness will depend on himself." Part 197. While the old man was silently pondering, Tarshan, who was lying on the wooden platform, weakly said, "I'm willing." Wang Lin's expression was neutral. and with one step, he arrived next to the wooden platform. He looked at Ta Shan, whose body had been shattered and was on the verge of death. There was already no tattoos on his body. All of the tattoos had entered his body and became the killers that were causing him to die. Wang Lin calmly said, "This spell requires the person being refined to have a firm heart and be completely willing. There mustn't be the slightest hesitation, otherwise, it will definitely fail." Ta Shan revealed a miserable smile and weakly said, "No need to say more. I'm willing." Wang Lin longer wasted time. He grabbed Ta Shan and flew off into the void. As he disappeared into the distance, Wang Lin sent out a message. "Don't disturb me for 3 months. The old man stared at where Wang Lin disappeared to with a complicated expression. Eventually, he clenched his teeth, turned toward everyone, and said, "In 3 months, no matter what happens to Ta Shan, we must attack the mysterious yin furnace and leave this place." Wang Lin returned to where he was refining treasures with Ta Shan and placed him on the ground. Then he spat out a mouthful of essence origin energy that wrapped around Ta Shan. Finally, he took out the 1 billion soul flag and shook something out from it. This item was the heavenly ghost Wang Lin obtained in the Thunder Celestial Realm. The moment it appeared, it roared and struggled. Wang Lin pointed at it and the Karma whip immediately appeared. The whip struck the heavenly ghost several times, causing it to let out miserable groans. At the same time, Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he took out another bag. A large amount of celestial jades filled the area. This didn't end. He pondered for a bit and took out more than 10 skulls. These skulls all had complex runes flashing on them. There were the skulls of the Forsaken Immortal clan from planet Suzaku. Wang Lin looked at Ta Shan, who was being refined by his essence origin energy, and calmly said, "I'll use the celestial jades to nourish your body, the heavenly ghost to help you form a soul, and the skulls of your ancestors to help you perfect your tattoos. Ta Shan, I'll gift you a great fortune. If this still doesn't succeed, then it is your luck that was lacking and not me not giving my all." Time flashed by and more than 2 months passed. On this day, the plane Wang Lin was on released a loud rumble. This rumble was so loud that even the chosen Immortal clan members heard it, and all of them flew out. The first person to react was the old man. The current him was extremely haggard, as if several years had passed in these 2 months. He was looking even older. The plane Wang Lin was on was filled with dust and a 20-foot tall man was walking inside the dust. Every step he took was like a thunderous rumble that echoed through the ground. This burly man had thick eyebrows and his entire body gave off a golden glow. He was like a giant. There were no tattoos on his body, but between his eyebrows was a complex tattoo. It was so complex that just taking a look at it would make you dizzy. The complexity of this rune had exceeded imagination. The burly man's eyes contained intelligence as he walked out of the dust. Wang Lin slowly walked out from behind the giant, and his expression revealed a trace of fatigue. He looked at the back of the burly man before him and his eyes revealed a hint of regret. Unfortunately, in the end he could only reach the peak of the corporeal yang stage and was unable to break through into the nirvana scrya stage. Wang Lin's body moved, and when he appeared, he was on the shoulder of the giant. The giant walked toward where the chosen Immortal clan was. "I didn't expect that consuming large amount of celestial jades would not only help Ta Shan's body recover, but also make him grow 1-fold. The heavenly ghost was especially important. If not for that thing, it would have immediately failed on the second step." Wang Lin stood on the shoulder of the burly man and began to ponder. "During each of my successful attempts at creating celestial guards, I integrated the heavenly ghost. I wonder if there is a connection. Could it be that including the heavenly ghost increases the chance of success?" As he pondered, the burly man began to take longer strides. The burly man would often cross hundreds of feet in one step and moved like a gust of wind. In addition, the skulls of the ancestors of the Forsaken Immortal clan were very mysterious. When refining them, they actually fused into one tattoo. In the distance, the members of the chosen Immortal clan flew over and stared at the burly man. The old man was abnormally excited as he quickly flew over and said, "Ta Shan." The burly man's expression was cold and he didn't even look at the old man. He stopped under Wang Lin's command and remained motionless. Wang Lin jumped off the burly man and landed on the ground. "Benefactor, Ta Shan, he." Wang Lin calmly said, "I said before that I had no confidence in whether his consciousness will recover after I refine his body. Perhaps he will recover with time." He didn't lie. He hadn't erased Ta Shan's consciousness, it was only shattered and still existed inside the body. The old man was startled and was about to ask more when Wang Lin interrupted him. Wang Lin had been stranded here for too long. Go open the gate to the altar, I'm going to leave. Wang Lin's tone didn't allow any questions. The old man stared at Ta Shan before he withdrew his gaze and respectfully nodded. Wang Lin took a step forward and charged toward the entrance of the altar. Along the way, he put away the thunder toad and mosquito beast. Ta Shan followed after Wang Lin, and the old man let out a sigh as he and the rest of the chosen immortal clan followed. When they passed the buildings, a large number of women walked out, and following them were children. They entered the group and headed toward the altar. Soon, Wang Lin appeared outside the altar. Without waiting for Wang Lin's order, the old man's hand formed a seal. The plant between his eyebrows shined brightly, flew out, and landed on the gate. The door slowly rose with a rumble, and a moment later it opened completely. At the moment the door opened, a sharp scream came from inside the gate. This voice was very sharp, like sharp swords flying out. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he slapped his bag of holding, and the 3 purple flags flew out. They rapidly rotated around Wang Lin to form a purple vortex. The sharp scream was immediately crushed by the purple vortex. Ta Shan, destroy the spirit. As Wang Lin shouted, Ta Shan's body shined brightly and he walked through the gate. His gaze was cold as he rushed in and threw a punch. This punch was several times stronger than the ones he threw before he became a celestial guard. The punch created a sonic boom that echoed within the passage. The scattered black mist inside the passage quickly retreated as if it was being blown away. Wang Lin's eyes became cold. This time he was determined to leave no matter what. He charged out like a bolt of lightning and rushed into the gate and down the passage. The chosen immortal clan members all walked in, and their eyes were filled with determination. A moment later, Wang Lin arrived at the end of the passage, where the mysterious yin furnace was. He saw the woman's shadowy figure rapidly whirling around Ta Shan and screaming non-stop. Ta Shan's expression was normal. He was a celestial guard, meaning his origin soul had already collapsed and fused with his body, so the scream had no effect on him. Even though the scream could harm the body, with how strong his body was, it didn't affect him. As for Wang Lin, he had the ancient god leather armor guarding his origin soul. When that scream touched the leather armor, it immediately collapsed. The shadowy figure of the woman around Ta Shan saw Wang Lin and immediately gave up on Ta Shan. It went toward Wang Lin with a storm-like wail as if it was going to tear Wang Lin apart. Wang Lin sneered and his hand formed a seal. The 3 flags around him quickly flew out, forming a vortex of purple gas that confronted the incoming sound wave. At the same time, Wang Lin retreated and arrived next to the mysterious yin furnace in one step. Ta Shan also arrived next to the furnace as his mind was linked with Wang Lin. When he arrived, he raised his fist and landed on the mysterious yin furnace. Ta Shan released his most powerful punch since becoming a celestial guard. Although he had become a celestial guard, some of his instincts still remained. Right now the countless years of hatred he had for the mysterious yin furnace exploded through his fist. The complex tattoo between his eyebrows flashed as if it was alive. It flew out and entered Ta Shan's fist. His punch also produced a spell fluctuation. There was a very loud bang that caused large amount of gravel to fall. It was as if the entire altar was going to collapse. There was a series of cracking sounds and large amount of cracks appeared on the mysterious yin furnace. The cracks looked like a spider's web. Just at this moment, the woman's shadowy figure surrounded by the 3 flags let out a crazed scream. It desperately rushed over in an attempt to stop Ta Shan. After Ta Shan threw the first punch, he didn't hesitate to raise his fist and throw another punch. There was a loud bang and the mysterious yin furnace collapsed into countless pieces. Rich, black gas came from the fragments, but the black gas quickly contracted and disappeared into the small transfer array as if it was being sucked away. Along with the black gas was the woman's shadowy figure. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he stepped onto the transfer array without any hesitation and shouted, "Shu Ligua, are you still not coming back?" One of the surrounding chosen immortal clan members immediately trembled and black gas came out from between his eyebrows. The black gas turned into Shu Ligua. He pondered on the aftertaste and flew toward Wang Lin. After Wang Lin, Ta Shan also stepped out and disappeared without a trace. The surroundings were completely silent and a large amount of dirt fell. It was obvious that this altar could collapse at any moment. The ancestor of the chosen immortal clan looked at the surrounding clan members before lifting his feet and disappearing into the transfer array. After him, the chosen immortal clan members walked into the transfer array one by one. They were leaving the place they had lived in and guard for generations. There was a giant formation inside the dark void of the nether beast. This formation was formed from dark red blood. As it floated in the void, bursts of black gas came out from the formation and entered the crystal coffin at the center. There was a body inside the coffin. The body was that of a man. He was very handsome and looked around 20 years old. He was lying inside the coffin as if he was asleep. The black gas from the formation entered the coffin and was absorbed by the man. There was a person sitting cross-legged in the void next to the coffin. This person was wearing a black robe. The large robe was wrapped around his entire body, revealing nothing but his head. His eyes were closed as he cultivated. It was as if he had always been there, guarding the crystal coffin in the formation. Just at this moment, the black-robed man suddenly opened his eyes, looked into the distance, and muttered, "He indeed came. Unfortunately, I'm not strong enough right now to destroy the formation. Otherwise, there would be no need to worry." His eyes lit up and a ray of black light flew out from his body. The light landed 100 feet away and turned into a human figure. This figure gradually condensed and formed into a clone identical to the black-robed man. The clone opened his eyes and waved his hand, causing a blue robe to appear. He moved slightly before charging off into the distance. The black-robed man didn't stop and continued to cast the spell. One by one, more clones appeared. Including the first one, a total of 5 clones rushed off into the distance. Tens of thousands of kilometers away from the black-robed man, there was a flash of colorful light and a giant vortex formed. Wang Lin walked out from inside the vortex. Shu Ligua floated around Wang Lin like a ghost. Ta Shan walked out from the vortex right after Wang Lin. A moment later, the members of the chosen Forsaken clan appeared from inside the vortex. Wang Lin's expression was calm as his divine sense spread out and charged forward. However, his eyes quickly narrowed as he saw a person quickly flying over. This person was wearing a blue robe and was one of the clones. So the one I killed before was only a clone. When Wang Lin saw the blue-robed man, he immediately understood. With a thought, Ta Shan charged forward and threw a punch at the blue-robed man. The blue-robed man's expression became gloomy and his hand formed a seal. With a flash of light, a spear appeared in his hand. With a point of his finger, the spear charged toward Ta Shan. Just at this moment, the 4 figures in the distance charged over like a ray of light. Killing intent flashed across Wang Lin's eyes and he charged out. His right hand moved and the beast bone tattoo on his hand moved and flew out. "Masters withered Dao pair," the 5 clones almost exclaimed at the same time when they saw the beast bone tattoo. Their eyes were filled with terror and disbelief. At this moment, even eyes of the black-robed man sitting tens of thousands of kilometers away shined brightly. The Wither Dao pair released a flash of light and an intense killing aura suddenly appeared. The clone fighting with Ta Shan immediately retreated to where the other 4 clones were. Their hands began to form seals and they chanted a complex chant. At the moment the killing intent spread out, a light screen appeared around the 3 clones. The light screen immediately turned gray and was petrified. After the light screen completely turned into stone, cracks appeared on it before it completely shattered. The 5 clones' expressions were slightly pale, but the terror in their eyes was even stronger. There wasn't any hesitation as the 5 clones retreated into the distance. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he took a step forward. He disappeared and then reappeared next to a clone. The moment he appeared, he opened his mouth and spat out a ray of golden light. There was a 3-inch stamp inside the golden light. However, right after it appeared, it immediately grew to 100 feet wide and smashed down at the clone. The aura of this 100-foot stamp was extremely shocking, to the point it was almost solid. The clone's face became pale and all of the power in its body was sealed the moment the stamp descended. In addition, he had a feeling that he was facing the might of the heavens. In a flash, the stamp landed with a bang. The clone let out a miserable groan before his body collapsed. However, as the origin soul was about to escape, the 100-foot stamp went from dim to dazzling. In an instant, its golden glow covered the surrounding 10,000-foot area. It was as if the stamp had become the sun. A miserable scream came from inside the origin soul. His origin soul was immediately pierced by the golden light that formed into many seals, making him unable to escape. It was as if he was being absorbed as he was sucked into the stamp. Not far away, the 4 remaining clones were shocked and were going to continue to retreat. Wang Lin grabbed the stamp and chased closely after them. The 4 clones quickly escaped, but a moment later, Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He stopped and revealed a sneer. "You want to lure me away?" He gave up chasing and sat down in the void. Ta Shan arrived to guard him as Wang Lin's divine sense continued to spread. A few breaths of time later, he suddenly opened his eyes and charged toward a direction. The 4 escaping clones suddenly changed directions and charged toward Wang Lin. The fastest one got to within 10,000 feet of Wang Lin when he revealed a decisive gaze. He actually burned his origin's soul and flesh, causing his cultivation and speed to explode several-fold. In an instant, he was within 100 feet of Wang Lin and his body exploded. The power of a peak corporeal young cultivator was too strong. A destructive power began to spread and sweep toward Wang Lin. At this moment of crisis, Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he quickly retreated. He slapped his bag of holding and 3 small flags quickly appeared before rotating around him. At the same time, Wang Lin also took out the mountain and river screen. With a wave, the surroundings became the mountain and river painting. When the explosion happened, the impact of the force caused the painting to distort. Although a lot of the force was negated, some still entered the painting. After all, this was only a copy and not the real mountain and river painting. An opening appeared on the purple vortex after it had blocked some of the force. The destructive force landed on Wang Lin's body and directly charged toward his origin soul. Wang Lin quickly retreated and his expression became pale, but killing intent flashed across his eyes. Fortunately, I have the ancient god leather armor. Otherwise, if I didn't die to the explosion, I would have been seriously injured. At this moment, the 3 clones all closed in. They all exposed vicious gazes and all revealed auras of exploding as they charged at Wang Lin. They seemed unwilling to stop until they killed Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes became cold. He would never let the same thing happen again. Instead of retreating, he charged out and pointed with his right hand. The Wither Dao pair flew out and released intense killing intent. One of the clones' feet immediately turned into stone. Wang Lin's figure moved like lightning and appeared before the one that was turning into stone. His finger formed a sword and pointed between the eyebrows of this clone, causing the clone to collapse into countless pieces of stone. At this moment, the remaining 2 clones closed in. Their auras had reached a peak, ready to explode. During this moment of crisis, Wang Lin was extremely calm. He raised his right hand to use the stop spell and one of the clones stopped. At this moment, Ta Shan charged out, grabbed one of the clones, and flew off into the distance. That clone exploded with a loud bang and the impact hit Ta Shan's body. His expression became pale and his body trembled, but he was able to hold out. Although Wang Lin destroyed 2 of the self-destructions in a row, but the last clone exploded due to the force building up inside the clone's body. When that clone exploded, it created a violent storm that charged straight at Wang Lin. Just at this moment, the celestial ceiling stamp expanded to 1,000 feet before Wang Lin. It wasn't horizontal but stood upright like a 1,000-foot-tall shield before Wang Lin. The sound of the explosion echoed across the void as the explosion hit the stamp with unimaginable force. Wang Lin retreated more than 30 steps with the stamp before he finally stopped. The killing intent in his eyes had reached a limit. After the destructive force passed, Wang Lin charged into the void ahead like a meteor with monstrous killing intent. Ta Shan followed closely behind him. The Wither Dao pair floated above Wang Lin, and below Wang Lin was the celestial ceiling stamp. Using the origin soul trapped inside the stamp as a guide, Wang Lin traveled tens of thousands of kilometers in a flash. Wang Lin eventually saw the huge formation and the crystal coffin inside with his eyes filled with killing intent. He also saw the black-robed man, whose face had a gloomy expression and a hidden trace of shock. There was originally no wind in the void, but with the momentum of the 1,000-foot celestial ceiling stamp, there was a big gust of wind. The wind caused the black-robed man's large robe to move. Wang Lin's pupils shrank as he clearly saw white bones under that black robe. Aside from his head, everything under that black robe was bones. Read novel full. Read light novel, web novel, Korean novel and Chinese novel online for free. You can find hundreds of English translated light novel, web novel, Korean novel and Chinese novel which are daily updated. Read novels online, read light novel online, read online free light novel online. After the wind passed, the black robe covered the person once more. He stared at Wang Lin as his lip moved slightly and a ray of light shot out from between his eyebrows. The moment this black light appeared, it turned into a black short sword that whistled toward Wang Lin. The black-robed man's lips didn't stop and continued to mutter. Rays of black light shot out from between his eyebrows and turned into short swords. In an instant, more than 10 sword shorts were flying toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin didn't move. The black-robed person's cultivation level was very high. He definitely wasn't someone at the illusory yin or corporeal yang stages. However, since his entire body was bones besides his head, that meant that no matter how powerful he was, he couldn't use his full power. Wang Lin's expression was calm. The cultivation this black-robed man could use couldn't be higher than early-stage Nirvana Scrya. At the moment those short swords flew over, Ta Shan stepped out with a thought from Wang Lin. The injuries he suffered earlier couldn't be considered much. At this moment, his body shined brightly as he stepped forward and threw a punch. This punch caused a vortex. The short swords were pulled in by the vortex, but they managed to charge out. The short swords moved like snakes and stabbed into Ta Shan's body. Explosions echoed through the void and Ta Shan coldly waved his fists. Every time his fists hit one, it would knock the short sword back. Even if the short swords dodged the punches, they couldn't cause any damage to his body. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he charged out. His right finger pointed at the Wither Dao pair. The Wither Dao pair flashed and flew toward the black-robed man. At the same time, the world was filled with dense killing intent, and it quickly spread. The moment the killing intent appeared, a grey light appeared on the black-robed man. The black-robed man revealed a complex gaze and let out a sigh. He spoke as if he was muttering to himself. It has been many years since I've seen Master's treasure. Under the black robe, he raised his bone hand. The white bones looked extremely terrifying and made a seal. Not only did the grey light stop, but it quickly retreated and then disappeared. At the moment the grey light disappeared, the black-robed man's lips moved. A ray of white light came from between his eyebrows and turned to a white-feathered fan. The moment the fan appeared, it began to move. A gust of wind suddenly appeared. There was even thunder rumbling inside the wind. In an instant, it turned into a thunderstorm that charged toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression didn't change. He raised his right hand and pointed at the sky. The celestial sealing stamp flew into the air and mercilessly smashed down toward the black-robed man with a mysterious sealing force. At the same time, Wang Lin retreated. When the thunderstorm closed in, his ancient thunder dragon's soul flew out and devoured the thunderstorm. Rumbles of thunder echoed inside Wang Lin's body, causing him to retreat. When the entire thunderstorm was devoured by his origin, he returned to his body. His face turned slightly red as large amount of thunder stormed through his body. At this moment, the black-robed man had a serious expression. Above him, the celestial sealing stamp was falling down like the might of the heavens. Popping sounds were coming from under his black robe and his face had a hideous expression. His two bone hands rose up to form a seal and he shouted, "Raising heaven." At the moment the black-robed man raised his hands, a mysterious force suddenly began to gather from within 5,000 kilometers. This mysterious power was like strands of invisible gas, and they gathered toward his hand as if there was a suction force coming from his hand. This mysterious force formed a vortex above his hands. The black-robed man's ferocious expression became even stronger and he mercilessly pushed up. A loud bang echoed across the void. The sound was so loud that the incoming chosen immortal clan members all stopped. Their bodies trembled and they were forced to retreat due to the shockwave. Those with weaker cultivation had blood coming out of their orifices. The celestial sealing stamp trembled and paused for a moment. The black-robed man's face turned slightly pale. Wang Lin immediately charged out, touched his bag, and took out the celestial sword. He chopped down without hesitation. Heavenly chop. The black-robed man's eyes narrowed and soon black light began to gather. The moment the heavenly chop closed in, two rays of light shot out from his eyes and landed on the heavenly chop. The power of the heavenly chop dissipated with a bang. With just this level of cultivation, it isn't even enough to make me move. If this all you got, you're not qualified to own my master's treasure. The black-robed man's hoarse voice was cold. Wang Lin's expression was calm as he stared at the black-robed man. He pointed to the air and softly said, "Seal, release." Crackling sounds came from the celestial sealing stamp and then a ray of golden light shot out. Then another ray of golden light shot out, and in an instant, many rays of golden light appeared. The originally dim celestial sealing stamp shined like the sun. A powerful pressure spread like crazy. There were golden runes flickering on the celestial sealing stamp. Too many of them were densely covering the stamp, at least hundreds of thousands of them. Wang Lin's eyes turned cold and he softly said, "Descend." In an instant, the celestial sealing stamp descended once more. This time, no matter what force was obstructing it, it wouldn't be able to stop it. It was as if the sky was collapsing. The black-robed man's expression changed greatly as he raised his head and said, "10 dragons, raise the heavens." As he shouted, the black light between his eyebrows shined brightly and 10 dragons flew out. The tails of the black dragons were connected to his head. The 10 dragons let out a roar and charged toward the celestial sealing stamp. Bang! 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 A series of explosions echoed across the void. The 10 dragons charged like crazy, but they weren't able to stop the celestial ceiling stamp for even a moment. With each impact, the black dragons received large amounts of shock and were mercilessly knocked back. In the end, the 10 dragons desperately slammed into the stamp together. However, they still couldn't make the celestial ceiling stamp stop. Seeing that the stamp was about to land and was only 100 feet away from him, the black-robed man stood up with a gloomy expression. This was the first time he had stood up in countless years. His black robe spread out and covered his entire body. Only his eyes exposed a cold gaze from within the black robe. He let out a cold snort and his body moved. He was about to leave the spot where the celestial ceiling stamp was going to smash down. Killing intents flashed through Wang Lin's eyes. At the moment the black-robed man was going to leave, he coldly said, "Seal." The golden light from the celestial ceiling stamp suddenly disappeared and the world immediately turned dark. However, just a moment later, an even brighter glow appeared. One by one, golden runes appeared on the celestial ceiling stamp. The runes spread quickly, and soon the entire 10,000 feet area was surrounded by golden runes. The black-robed man's expression was extremely gloomy. He raised his feet to leave, but just at this moment, all of the golden runes gathered toward him. At this moment, the golden light filled the area and the runes quickly gathered. In an instant, a layer of golden runes quickly contracted around the black-robed man. The black-robed man's eyes showed a trace of fear. He suddenly jerked his head and stared at the celestial ceiling stamp. As the runes condensed around him, he revealed a decisive gaze. The 10 dragons coming out from between his eyebrows let out a fierce roar. A destructive aura spread out as the black-robed man shouted, "10 dragons, shatter the void." One of the black dragons was torn apart by the destructive aura inside its body. It formed a vortex and then exploded. There was a loud explosion. The self-destruction of the black dragon caused the golden runes around the black-robed man to be pushed back. Shortly after, another black dragon exploded. At the same time, the other 8 dragons all exploded. The explosions of the 10 black dragons was unimaginable. All of the golden runes were blown away and even the celestial ceiling stamp was thrown back. Wang Lin quickly retreated. Tarshan gave up on confronting the short swords and arrived before Wang Lin. He opened his arms and used his 20-foot body to block the force. The black-robed man's expression was pale. His body flickered and he finally left the range of the celestial ceiling stamp. What a powerful treasure! Even in the celestial realm, this treasure is enough to be famous. The black-robed man's body flew outside the range of the celestial ceiling stamp. His eyes lit up as he flew to the top of the celestial ceiling stamp. Under the impact of the 10 black dragons, Tarshan coughed out blood and his eyes dimmed. Wang Lin walked out from behind Tarshan, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. He moved like lightning toward the black-robed man with the celestial sword in his hand. He was too fast. As he charged out, he raised the celestial sword and chopped down 10 times. A total of 10 heavenly chops fused into one and shot toward the black-robed man. The black-robed man's speed didn't change and he flew toward the celestial ceiling stamp. He didn't even look at Wang Lin as his right hand formed a seal. A large amount of celestial spiritual energy gathered to form a celestial curtain. This treasure is being wasted in your hands. Might as well give it to me. Part 198. Wang Lin's eyes became cold. When the heavenly chop flew out, he raised the celestial sword and used 10 more heavenly chops that chased closely behind the first 10. With a bang, the celestial curtain trembled and cracked. Immediately after, a second heavenly chop arrived and the celestial curtain shattered. Wang Lin threw the celestial sword and shouted, "Stop!" The celestial sword was too fast and shot out like lightning. The black-robed man frowned as he had already arrived above the celestial ceiling stamp. He lifted his right hand and was about to grab the celestial sword. However, just at this moment, Wang Lin's stop echoed like thunder. The black-robed man's head was normal, but his bone hand paused. At this instant, the celestial sword flashed by and severed his entire right arm. When his right arm was detached from his body, it mysteriously turned into bone dust and dissipated in the void. Wang Lin's timing was extremely accurate. If it wasn't for the fact that the celestial sword was so close, then even with the stop spell, it wouldn't be effective because the spell couldn't stop the black-robed man for long. However, right now it was very different. The black-robed man was startled and looked at this empty right arm. His eyes revealed unimaginable anger. This anger made him release powerful killing intent. I have been protecting this place for countless years and have finally managed to recover my skeleton. You dare to destroy my right arm? That black-robed man seemed to have gone crazy. He gave up on the celestial sealing stamp and charged toward Wang Lin. While he flew, his expression was extremely hideous. He raised his remaining left hand and his fingers formed a sword that sliced at Wang Lin. Cracking sounds came from the dark void and a crack appeared. Wang Lin revealed a cold gaze as he raised his hand into the air and shouted, "Call the wind." The origin energy in his body quickly surged, but he didn't have time to worry about consumption. A black wind appeared in his hand as it quickly spread and formed a violent gust of black wind. Waves of cold wind spread out as the black wind charged toward the black-robed man. The black-robed man's eyes were filled with shock. This time the shock was several times stronger than when he saw Wang Lin with his master's treasure. The Celestial Emperor's spell, "Call the wind." "You? Who the hell are you?" The black-robed man's expression changed greatly. He was very clear on how powerful Call the Wind was. That spell was a nightmare for him back then. He clearly remembered that he had violated a celestial law. Although his master pleaded for him, Celestial Emperor Bai Fan still casted one spell. The Emperor said that if he could survive the spell, he would be spared. Back then, the spell Celestial Emperor Bai Fan used was Call the Wind. Under Call the Wind, his entire body collapsed, even his bones dissipated. If it wasn't for the fact that his master, Master Carefree, had acted, not even his skull would have been saved. After that, he was sent here by Master Carefree to guard this coffin. Only through this large formation and countless years of cultivation was he finally able to expel Call the Wind to reform his skeleton. At this moment, he saw this spell once more and was scared out of his wits. He quickly retreated, opened his mouth without hesitation, and spat out an object. This was a blue core, and the moment it appeared, it dyed everything blue. The black-robed man shouted once more, "What is your relation with Celestial Emperor Bai Fan?" The blue core before him gave off a gentle glow, making it so he wasn't injured by the black wind. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with killing intent. He didn't speak as he took a step forward and the black wind roared. Right now it was as if Wang Lin had become one with the black wind. He arrived next to the black-robed man and the black wind moved with Wang Lin's hand. The black-robed man's expression turned pale and he retreated once more. The blue light around him dimmed, but his eyes narrowed. He let out a roar and both of his hands pushed forward. The blue core began to rotate, emitting bursts of blue light. It was like a vortex that sucked in the incoming black wind. This person's Call the Wind isn't strong, but I can't let a trace of it touch me. Otherwise, it will activate the remnants of the Call the Wind law in my body. Call the Wind was too vicious. Once it enters the body, it is almost impossible to expel. If he let it enter him once more, it would immediately cause the injuries from back then to erupt. Damn it, how could this person know Call the Wind? I'll have to rely on the treasure Master gifted me. The black-robed man was extremely gloomy. As the blue core resisted the black wind, he quickly retreated. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with killing intent as he stared at the black-robed man. He took out the god-slaying war chariot without any hesitation. There was a flash of five-colored light and the five-colored butterfly appeared. After the butterfly appeared, its wings fluttered slightly. Five-colored powder scattered everywhere. It looked very beautiful. At the moment the butterfly appeared, Wang Lin's hand formed a seal and pointed at the retreating black-robed man. The butterfly immediately flew forward and flapped its wings. Just at this instant, the retreating black-robed man's body trembled and his eyes became filled with terror. His left bone arm exploded into grey dust and formed a grey butterfly. After this butterfly appeared, it flapped its wings. The black-robed man's face was extremely pale and his body quickly retreated. His feet bones immediately collapsed and his eyes filled up with shock. Seeing that the butterfly was about to flap its wings once more, he exploded the lower half of his body. Using the power of the explosion, he instantly pushed himself far away and arrived above the coffin at the center of the formation. When the upper half of his body entered the formation, a large amount of black gas came from the blood-colored formation. This caused his lower half to quickly reappear in an illusory state. At this moment, the butterfly's wings flapped once more and the lower half of the black-robed man that had just formed collapsed. However, the next moment, more black gas came out, allowing him to reform his lower half once more. This continued. The black gas from the large formation no longer went into the coffin but into his lower half. After condensing for a long time, it was as if his lower half contained flesh and blood. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he charged forward and raised his hand, using Call the Wind once more. His origin energy was a bit lacking to use it twice in a row. Although his face was a bit pale, he was filled with killing intent. It was obvious that if he didn't kill this person, he wouldn't be able to leave. The black wind charged forward toward the formation. The black-robed man's expression changed greatly and he was about to dodge. At this moment, the butterfly flapped only its left wing. The black-robed man's illusory body immediately collapsed. Even his black robe completely dissipated. The only thing that remained was his head in the air. The terror in his eyes had reached a limit. Break the law. This is a treasure that can break the law. The black-robed man had lost his wit and he didn't hesitate to retreat. However, at this moment, the black wind had arrived to devour him. The black-robed man's eyes were filled with despair. If he was at the peak of his cultivation, he was confident he would be able to resist this, even if the enemy had a treasure that could break the law. If he had his body, he was confident he could instantly kill Wang Lin without letting him use that treasure. If it wasn't for the fact that I was injured by fans Call the Wind, I wouldn't have to be so afraid of this incomplete Call the Wind. I'm not willing to let it end like this. The black-robed man's eyes were filled with hatred. The moment the black wind swallowed him, he blew out a large mouthful of air. This was his essence origin energy. He blew it out without hesitation and it collided with the black wind. He borrowed this force, allowing his skull to quickly retreat. His eyes revealed a decisive gaze and he clenched his teeth. He retreated next to the coffin and muttered, "Master, it isn't Disciple not keeping his promise, but if I don't open this coffin, Disciple will without a doubt die." As he spoke, his head slammed into the coffin and the lid was opened. The moment the coffin opened, the flesh of the young man inside began to dissipate. It was as if it would collapse the moment it came in contact with the outside world. A moment later, it had completely dissipated and nothing remained inside the coffin. Long Daozi, you broke the celestial law and was punished by the celestial emperor. Not even Master can save you. I can only save your skull and seal your origin soul inside to guard this coffin. Your master has foreseen a great catastrophe for the celestial realm, so leaving here might be a blessing. This coffin is a treasure from the ancient celestial realm. Your master obtained it after going through many dangers. It is called the heaven-avoiding coffin. You should know that before your master became a celestial, I had a son. Your master owes him too much and could only take a trace of his soul. When I became a celestial, I gave up all my cultivation time and opportunities to find this heaven-avoiding coffin. I placed his soul fragment inside so that one day he can reform his body and awaken. When he awakens, you will recognize him as your master and you will never betray him. At the same time, you can borrow this coffin to reform your body and recover your cultivation. His master's voice from back then echoed inside the black-robed man's skull when he went inside the coffin. Master, don't blame me. The black-robed man revealed a decisive gaze. The moment his head fell in the coffin, the lid automatically flew over and closed the coffin. Then the coffin shined brightly and flew out from the formation. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. The scene before him shocked him. He clearly saw the youth inside the coffin disappear. Then he saw that as soon as the black-robed man's head fell into the coffin, his body began condensing rapidly. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed and his hand formed a seal without hesitation. The butterfly flew under Wang Lin and carried him. His left hand reached out and the celestial sealing stamp immediately flew after the coffin. Ta Shan flickered as he disappeared into Wang Lin's shadow. Wang Lin's eyes were cold as he chased after the coffin. What kind of treasure is this that allows one's body to reform? Inside the crystal coffin, Long Daozi's body quickly condensed. The feeling of having flesh was something he hadn't felt for countless years. His eyes became cold and he had a grin as he muttered, "Master, I, Long Daozi, didn't have a body for the countless years I've been guarding your son. It turned out that I only had to lie here for a moment to recover my body. If that was the case, why did you make me suffer such pain? Were you worried that I would not guard it for you after I recovered my body? I felt guilty before, but now I know. I, Long Daozi, have always been grateful that you saved me, and because of our master and pupil relationship, I would rather suffer pain for countless years than have any ideas about the coffin. However, now I know how ridiculous my thoughts were." Inside the coffin, Long Daozi mercilessly clenched his fist and popping sounds came from inside his body like bones colliding. This was a very comfortable feeling, and he could clearly feel his cultivation recovering at an unimaginable speed. From between Corporeal Yang and Nirvana Scrya, which was rank 1 Sky Celestial, he steadily reached the early stage of Nirvana Scrya, which was rank 3 Sky Celestial. "Master Carefree, you cheated me good." Long Daoz's eyes were filled with killing intent as his cultivation exploded. It rose up to rank 6 Sky Celestial, and it wasn't stopping. While Wang Lin was pursuing, his expression changed slightly. He could feel that the fluctuations of celestial spiritual energy from inside the coffin were getting stronger and stronger. What kind of treasure is this? Wang Lin sucked in a breath of cold air and his eyes were filled with shock. As Long Daozi smiled, celestial origin energy surged and he quickly reached rank 9 Sky Celestial. That was his peak cultivation level back in the celestial realm. This didn't stop. When his cultivation reached rank 9 Sky Celestial, his cultivation level exploded past the barrier of Sky Celestial and underwent an unimaginable change. Long Daoz's eyes shined so brightly that they seemed like they would penetrate the coffin. His cultivation had broken through Sky Celestial and reached Celestial King. Rank 3 Celestial King. Master Carefree, you are only a rank 9 Celestial King. Now I, Long Daozi, am also a Celestial King. Once I kill this junior and take his treasure, as long as I don't go to the Celestial Realm, you will never find me in this big world. Long Daozi laughed as he raised his hand and pressed against the lid of the coffin. The lid flew out and Long Daozi walked out. Wang Lin immediately stopped, and his expression was extremely gloomy. However, his eyes narrowed as he looked ahead. He saw that had Long Daozi charged out of the coffin laughing. A powerful aura spread out from Long Daozi. Although it was not as strong as the blood ancestors, it was still very strong. It was as if there was a powerful celestial storm in the area and that person was at the center. Junior, die. As Long Daozi laughed like crazy, he took a step forward. However, just at this moment, a drastic change occurred. His foot silently dissipated the moment he raised it. Then both of his legs and arms shattered. This scene was exactly the same as how that youth disappeared when he opened the coffin. How could it be? Impossible. Long Daoi's was frozen in place as he lowered his head. However, he couldn't see his body, as everything had shattered. Even his head began to become blurry as if it was going to turn into countless fragments and disappear in the void. Long Daoz's eyes were filled with fear. It was as if he had gone insane, and he shouted hysterically, "Why is it like this? Master, why is it like this?" Long Daozi roared at the sky, "Master, I have protected your son for countless years. Why do you want to kill me? You once said that as long as there is a sliver of soul, this coffin can help it reform. I used it to recover my body, so why has it collapsed? Why? Master Carefree, if it wasn't for me helping you find clues for the heaven-avoiding coffin, how could I have broken the celestial law? Yet you treat me like this. I fear that if I had listened to you and entered the coffin after your son awakened, the result would have been the same. You wanted to kill me." Long Daoz's head gradually dissipated. His origin soul also collapsed and became part of the void. Like dust returning to dust and earth returning to earth. However, there was a powerful sense of resentment that lingered in the void. This resentment had been brewing inside Long Daozi for countless years, ever since the celestial realm collapsed and finally erupted now. This resentment was powerful beyond imagination. If it was not dispelled, it would exist for eternality. Perhaps after countless years pass, a new life can be born from this resentment. Wang Lin witnessed all of this. After silently pondering for a moment, he pointed at the sky and said, "Dao forms underworld river." An underworld river appeared. It was as if the resentment had found an outlet and it had rushed into the underworld river. The resentment fused with the resentment inside the underworld river and continued to grow stronger. After the time it took for one incense stick to burn, all of the resentment had been absorbed. When Wang Lin turned around, the underworld river disappeared. Wang Lin grabbed the coffin. His eyes were very serious as he carefully looked at the coffin and began to ponder. This object can help nourish the soul and recover the flesh, but one can't come out. Once the person leaves, they will disappear into nothing. If that is not the case, then coffin must have been used improperly. Wang Lin silently pondered for a moment before putting away the coffin with a sigh and leaving. When he saw the coffin, he thought of Li Muwen. Planet Dong Lin, with my current cultivation, I should be able to take a look. Wang Lin's eyes shined brightly. In addition to avoiding the All-Seer, he came to the All-Heaven star system to look for the Xiong family on planet Dong Lin to find a way to revive Li Muwen. Wang Lin would never forget the shock and impulse he felt when the woman talked about awakening Li Muwen in the Tide Abyss. At that instant, the impulse that appeared inside his body could collapse the heavens and earth. It was as if tens of thousands bolts of thunder had struck his body. No matter whether it was true or false, he had to take a trip to the Xiong family's home on planet Dong Lin. No matter how difficult, no matter how dangerous, Wang Lin would choose to face it all. There were some things in life that no matter how dangerous or difficult, you had to do. At the western part of the All-Heaven star system, deep within the strange domain, no one had been here for a very long time. It was as if this place was a forbidden zone. It was filled with grey fog to the point that you couldn't even see past 100 feet. The fog seemed to slowly drift as if it would last for an eternity. The surroundings were extremely quiet without any sound. In the depths of the strange domain, it was completely covered by endless fog. On this day, there was a slight fluctuation inside the fog. At first it was weak, but soon it became violent. The fog churned as if there was a large monster moving inside. If one looked from above, they would clearly see the fog within hundreds of thousands of kilometers violently churn and move in all directions. As the fog dispersed, one would see a whale-like monster moving inside the fog. It was very big, at least tens of thousands of kilometers long. When its body moved, all of the grey fog around it would churn. Its head had no eyes, only a large, open mouth. The moment its mouth opened, it spewed out a large amount of grey fog. At the moment the mouth opened, a formation flashed. A person walked out from the formation, and more people appeared behind him. The first person was wearing green robes. Although he looked like a youth, he had a rich, ancient aura to him. It was as if a 1,000-year-old man was living inside the body of a young man. Wang Lin's eyes revealed a trace of confusion. The moment he appeared, he was immediately pushed forward by the fog. Behind him, the members of the chosen immortal clan came out with fear of the new world. They followed closely after Wang Lin. Wang Lin was pushed by the fog. When he stepped out, he turned around and saw the unimaginably large beast. It really was the nether beast from the ancient god Two-Size Memories. This beast has been around since the time of the ancient gods and its origin is unknown. This beast has no offensive capabilities and is extremely timid. However, there is something mysterious about its body. It's as if it contains another world. The world inside is far larger than its body. I didn't expect something from Two-Size Memories to still exist. Wang Lin looked at the nether beast and let out a sigh. This beast also noticed Wang Lin and company. It slowly closed its mouth before slowly backing away and disappearing. Aside from the churning mist, it was impossible to see its figure. Wang Lin had disappeared for more than half a year and had once more appeared in the All-Heaven star system. At this moment, two heaven-shattering events that shocked all of the cultivators had occurred. One of them had its spear directly pointed at Wang Lin. The Thunder Celestial Temple had issued an all-heaven decree to call all cultivation families to gather at the Thunder Celestial Temple to enter the Alliance star system. This news was like a storm that swept across the All-Heaven star system and set off many waves. In the countless years after the four celestial realms collapsed and the passages connecting the four systems were blocked, the four great star systems had no contact with each other. Aside from using some very precious treasures that could just barely open the passage for one or two cultivators to pass, there had never been such a large-scale operation like now. In the eyes of the cultivators of the All-Heaven star system, the Alliance star system was a remote place. However, there were all kinds of rumors from cultivators that had gone and came back from there. Rumor had it that the Alliance star system had no cultivation families. Instead, there were sects. Rumor had it that the Alliance star system had rank 1 to 9 cultivation countries. It was very different from the All-Heaven star system. Rumor had it that the Alliance star system had many magical treasures and countless pills. Every sect was like a treasure chest and every cultivation planet was like a treasure trove. Rumor had it that in the Alliance star system, the strongest power was the Cultivation Alliance. Rumor had it that in the Alliance star system, the cultivators were extremely bloodthirsty. They were used to fighting and were like devils. All kinds of rumors caused the cultivators in the All-Heaven star system to have all kinds of different images of the Alliance star system. Some of the cultivation families were very interested and filled with desire to battle. However, there were some cultivations families that didn't agree and still hesitated. But with the push of the Thunder Celestial Temple, invading the Alliance star system was already a foregone conclusion. More importantly, the Thunder Celestial Temple's unprecedented action had gained support from the two powerful families that had been around since the ancient cultivation whirl. These two families were the most powerful forces around aside from the one family from primal times. Both families had power no weaker than the Thunder Celestial Temple. One of those families was Planet Dong Lin's Xiong family. It wasn't the Thunder Celestial Temple that went looking for them but the Xiong family that went to them. The Xiong family strongly supported this and had even pulled the other family into this matter. Under the pressure of these three great powers, how would the rest of the cultivation families dare to not listen? As a result, a vigorous storm of preparations set off in the all-heaven star system. Each family was preparing for the moment the passage would open. For this battle, the three major powers made a speech. If anyone made an exploit, the cultivation planet they conquered would immediately be bestowed to them. This promise tempted the families of the all-heaven star system. After all, no one likes sharing a cultivation planet, but all of the planets with spiritual energy had been taken. If one wanted their own cultivation planet, they would have to steal it from the Alliance star system. In addition, in order to get all the cultivation families ready, the Thunder Celestial Temple took out various pills and magical weapons. They even took out celestial spells and created quite a scene. The Thunder Celestial Temple and the two families are going to grant celestial titles. This is the first time such a large-scale granting happened since the Thunder Celestial Realm collapsed. There will be 36 Heavenly Dippers and 72 Earth Fiends for a total of 108 people. Everyone who has a celestial title will have status above messengers of the Thunder Celestial Temple and will be admired by all cultivators in the all-heaven star system. They will even become a leader in the battle against the Alliance star system. If that was all there was to it, it wouldn't have been a big deal. After all, not everyone liked reputation. However, the Thunder Celestial Temple had obviously thought of this, so they added something else to increase the stakes. The Thunder Celestial Temple announced that all the people granted celestial titles will be personally taught a celestial spell by Celestial Lord Qing Shui. This was a piece of news that almost caused the storm to collapse. A celestial lord. A celestial lord. There was still a celestial lord alive. The entire all-heaven star system reached a boiling point. All of the cultivation families that were originally not interested changed their minds. They mobilized their elites to steal a spot. At the same time, the Thunder Celestial Temple announced that the two cultivation families said that the 36 Heavenly Dippers could make a request. The Thunder Celestial Temple and the two families would do their best to grant their requests. The frenzy of promoting the celestial titles had reached a peak in the all-heaven star system, and it allowed the Thunder Celestial Temple to gather all the power in the all-heaven system together. But then the most mysterious cultivation family from primal times sent out a message that ignited the entire all-heaven star system and caused all the cultivators' determination to reach a peak. The granting of celestial titles could almost be compared to the celestial granting done by the celestial realm. There was only one line in this message. The 108 people granted celestial titles can enter the celestial pool to change their origin into celestial origin and become a true celestia. The difference between celestials and current cultivators was that they didn't only have origin energy. Instead, they had an energy that was an integration of celestial spiritual energy and origin energy, celestial origin energy. No matter how powerful a celestial spell was, there was a limit when used with origin energy. However, if celestial origin energy was used, its true power could be displayed. Even celestial treasures were like this. The storm had set off, the flame of war had ignited, and everyone was waiting on the passage to open. Just as the storm of preparation and flames of war spread across the all-heaven star system, another shocking piece of news spread across the system. The Yarrow family, a family that was just below the two cultivation families from ancient times, sent out a heaven order. When the heaven order appears, slaughter awaits. The Yarrow family was the most powerful family among the 4 families that had inheritance from the celestial realm. They could even be compared to the 2 cultivation families from ancient times, and they even looked down upon the Thunder Celestial Temple. In the countless years after the celestial realm had collapsed, the Yarrow family had sent out its heaven order 3 times. Every time it was sent, there was a lot of bloodshed, and it wouldn't stop until the target was dead. At the present, while a storm was set off in the all-heaven star system, the Yarrow family's 4th heaven order was issued. This time there was only one name on the order, Shumu. This name was not only not unknown, it was an extremely famous name. Among all the news of the celestial titles, Shumu was one that most people thought would obtain a title. The people that were saved by Shumu and their families were all advocates for his name. In particular, those that were rescued by him all showed their respect and gratitude to Shumu when talking about him. The popularity of Shumu gradually exploded, and he became one of the few that were famous in all 4 domains of the all-heaven star system. And at this moment, the Yarrow family's heaven order only had one name. It was self-evident that the Yarrow family wanted to kill Shumu. No matter how strong Shumu was, very few people believed that he could survive the assault of the Yarrow family. Once the heaven order was sent, Shumu would die. Only a few select people, such as Shengong Hu and Zhong Konglai, sneered. In their eyes, The Yarrow family didn't have the qualifications to battle their lord. The Yarrow family had sent out a large amount of family members and many related families like a net across the All-Heaven star system to ensure they find Shu Mu. As the preparations for the celestial titles went on, the Yarrow family's search for Shu Mu reached an unprecedented peak. The appearance of the Yarrow family's heaven order and a large search caused the name Shu Mu to reach an even higher prestige. However, most cultivators believed that this name would be short-lived as his life would end soon. Even the people saved by Wang Lin became silent. It wasn't that they didn't want to help, but they all had their own families and they couldn't resist the Yarrow family. However, as the Yarrow family searched, Shu Mu had disappeared. No one could find him, as if he had disappeared from the All-Heaven star system. At this moment, Wang Lin was flying through the strange domain. There was only grey fog before Wang Lin, but that couldn't stop him at all. Behind him, the chosen immortal clan members were completely calm. The months of flying in the fog had caused their mentality to undergo a series of evolutions. The confusion from the start had disappeared and was replaced with decisiveness and killing intent. During the few months they followed Wang Lin in the fog, they saw and fought many fierce beasts. Although their numbers had reduced, their killing aura gradually thickened. At this moment, the members of the chosen immortal clan were like slaughter gods closely following Wang Lin. Amidst their ranks were women and children, but the weak expressions had disappeared from them as well. If they could charge out, they would live. If they couldn't, then they would only be devoured by the beasts here. Thanks to these bloody battles, the celestial immortal clan quickly grew up. There were shadows of Wang Lin among them. After all, for these simple people, Wang Lin was the only example they could learn from. After spending months with them, even Wang Lin had to admit that the chosen immortal clan was gifted and intelligent. They had good cultivation roots, and their ability to imitate was a bit scary. In just a few months of interactions in the fog, these people had learned Wang Lin resolution, Wang Lin's calm, and also Wang Lin's killing intent. Oftentimes when they acted, they were very decisive and merciless. They used all kinds of tattoo spells in the fog to battle the beast. What caused Wang Lin's eyes to narrow was that these people were very good at group attacks. Their group attacks were almost seamless and could multiply their strength. If it wasn't for the fact that they had to guard their women and children, they would be even more fierce. Wang Lin silently pondered as he wrapped the women and children of the chosen immortal clan in his spell so they could move even faster. On this day, the fog before them faded and Wang Lin charged out. The members of the chosen immortal clan charged out one by one. What appeared before them was a bright and starry sky. All-Heaven system Western domain. When he looked at the stars, Wang Lin went into a trance. Right after what happened at the Thunder Celestial Realm, he was transferred into the Nether Beast. Seeing the stars again after all this made everything that had happened feel like a dream. All-Heaven star system, I'm back. Now the first order of business is to find which domain this is. I must find a cultivation planet. Wang Lin muttered to himself as he took out a jade. This was the map Shengong who had given him. After looking at it for a bit, he put it back into his bag. Wang Lin looked back at the chosen immortal clan members. Here is the All-Heaven star system under the Thunder Celestial Domain. Since you arrived here, you are free. The chosen immortal clan silently pondered for a while before looking at Wang Lin and saying, Benefactor, we are unfamiliar with this place. Do you happen to have a cultivation planet that could shelter us temporarily? Once we are familiar with this All-Heaven star system, we will definitely leave. Wang Lin pondered slightly and nodded. Planet Qingling was very large and could fit these chosen immortal clan members. He turned back around, took a step, and rushed forward like a meteor. The chosen immortal clan members followed after him. There were hundreds of rays of light flying toward planet Qingling. Along the way, Wang Lin had his divine spread out, looking for cultivation planets. This place was extremely open, so it was very difficult to find a cultivation planet. After 10 days, Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he locked onto a yellow planet in the distance. The spiritual energy fluctuations weren't very strong but not weak either. As they flew, the fluctuations of their flight was so large that they spread everywhere, so they were detected by the cultivators from that yellow planet. As soon as Wang Lin closed in, 3 rays of light flew out from the yellow planet, revealing 3 people. Among the 3, one of them was a middle-aged man and the other 2 were old men. There were strong origin energy fluctuations from the 3 of them. Clearly they were all at the illusory yin stage. When the 3 appeared, they had serious expressions. The middle-aged man looked at Wang Lin and calmly said, Fellow cultivator, you rushed over so quickly. I wonder what do you need? The other two's gazes swept across the chosen immortal clan behind Wang Lin. The more they saw, the more shocked they became. The people behind had no spiritual energy fluctuations at all. Instead, they possessed a mysterious force they had never seen before. Moreover, they could clearly feel killing intent from these people. This killing intent was very strong and was obviously built up from killing for a long period of time. More importantly, these people's expressions revealed a very cold aura. Their expressions didn't change in the slightest when facing the two of them, and they even contained a hint of killing intent. However, the other two felt it was strange that there were women and children among them. It made it hard for them to guess these people's background. Just at this moment, the middle-aged man finished speaking and carefully looked at Wang Lin. He felt as if he was hit by lightning and thought that Wang Lin's appearance was similar to the heaven order sent out by the Yarrow family. Part 199. Wang Lin's expression was calm as he clasped his hands and calmly said, "I have lost my way. I'm wondering what domain of the All-Heaven star system this is. What is the name of this planet?" The middle-aged man pondered before taking a step back and saying, "This is the Western domain and this is planet Black Earth. What is your name?" Wang Lin looked at the middle-aged man and didn't answer. He took out a jade and checked it with his divine sense. He found the location of planet Black Earth and determined his location. At this moment, the middle-aged man took a few steps back. His right hand touched his bag and a jade appeared in his hand. His expression became focused as he checked the jade. When the Yarrow family sent out the heaven order, the Yarrow family members carved Shumu's appearance on jades and sent them to many families. If someone provided a clue about the target of a heaven order, then they would be greatly rewarded. The middle-aged man's heart pounded as he checked the jade. Aside from the clothes, the person inside the jade was almost exactly the same as the person before him, Shumu. He is Shumu. A wave was set off within the middle-aged man, but his expression didn't reveal a trace of it. The middle-aged man's expression was neutral and then he smiled. "Fellow cultivator rushed all the way here. Why not stay here and rest for a few days before leaving?" Wang Lin withdrew the jade and looked at the middle-aged man, especially at the jade in the middle-aged man's hand. He calmly said, "No need." With that, he charged into the distance. Behind him, the chosen immortal clan expressionlessly followed him. The hundreds of rays of light quickly disappeared into the distance. One of the old men looked at Wang Lin and company disappearing and said, "Brother Ouyang, these people's background is unknown. Why did you invite them to our planet? Right now we must go into closed-door cultivation and strive to take a celestial title. Brother Chen, don't you think that person looked a bit familiar?" The middle-aged man's eyes lit up and he threw the jade in his hand. The two old men were startled. After carefully looking at the jade, their expressions changed greatly. It was actually him. Rumor has it that this person has been missing for a long time. He unexpectedly appeared here. The Yarrow family rewards people who provide any clue. If this works out, then taking a celestial title will be a lot easier. The middle-aged man licked his lip and his eyes flooded with greed. One of the old men hesitated and said, "However, this Shumu isn't a nobody. If we reveal his location, will he come to take revenge?" "No need to worry. He won't have a chance to retaliate against us as he will be killed by the Yarrow family." The middle-aged man sneered as he took back the jade. He clenched his teeth and immediately crushed the jade. It turned into mist. The mist moved and condensed into an illusory figure. This was a figure of a youth. He had an extremely arrogant expression. Planet Black Earth's Ouyang Kun greets Yarrow family's Sky Messenger. "I just found a trace of Shumu." Wang Lin moved extremely fast through the stars with hundreds of rays of light following him, charging into the distance. While flying, Wang Lin pondered. That middle-aged man was a bit strange. However, I'm not acquainted with him nor have I met him in the past. Maybe I'm paranoid. As Wang Lin pondered, there was a flash of coldness in his eyes and he stopped. The chosen immortal clan members all stopped and looked at Wang Lin. Wang Lin slapped his bag of holding and took out a map jade. After leaving behind a mark, he threw it to the chosen immortal clan ancestor. He calmly said, "I put a marker on the location of planet Qingling. You all head over here, I'll catch up later." The old man silently pondered and took the jade. After examining it, he looked at Wang Lin and respectfully said, "Since that is the case, we will head out first. Benefactor, let us meet on planet Qingling." Wang Lin slightly nodded and watched the chosen immortal clan leave. After they left, Wang Lin turned around and took a step toward planet Black Earth. The three people at planet Black Earth were acting strangely. There might be a problem there. It is better to be cautious. Ripples appeared under his feet. After one step, he took another step and more ripples appeared. He merged with the world without any hindrance. At the moment he raised his foot for the third step, he disappeared completely. Outside planet Black Earth, the middle-aged man had just finished speaking. The eyes of the youth formed by the mist shined brightly. There was a trace of excitement on his face as he said, "Very good, I'll report the clue you three have given to the family. If it is true, then there naturally won't be any lacking of benefits for you three." After he spoke, the mist disappeared. The middle-aged man's eyes were filled with joy. He looked back at his two companions and laughed. "This is very simple. We just have to provide clues and that Shu Mu will without a doubt die. Why should we let others get this benefit? It is heaven's will to give us this opportunity. Otherwise, why would Shu Mu come here instead of another cultivation planet?" The two old men silently pondered and wryly smiled. Now that the matter was already set, it was impossible to change. However, there was a shadow of worry that wouldn't disappear in their hearts. "I hope Shu Mu isn't as strong as the legend says and that he gets killed by the Yarrow family. If he finds out that his whereabouts were leaked by us, I fear." Just as the old man said this, his expression changed greatly. He looked behind the middle-aged man and his face immediately turned pale without a trace of blood. The other old man's body shivered. His eyes revealed a look of disbelief and he exclaimed, Shu Mu." At this moment, all the hair on the middle-aged man's body stood up and a chill appeared in his heart. He didn't dare to move or turn around at all, as if he was shocked by lightning. A ripple appeared in the void behind the middle-aged man and Wang Lin walked out. His eyes were filled with killing intent so strong that it was also corporeal. "The three of you got guts." When Wang Lin appeared, his two fingers formed a sword. With one step, he pressed it directly on the back of the middle-aged man's head. Popping sounds echoed inside the middle-aged man. He then coughed out a large amount of blood and a large amount of blood sprayed out of his body. As he flew out in an arc, his body collapsed and his origin soul tried to escape. However, his origin soul was immediately caught by Wang Lin, who was filled with killing intent. This scene was like a giant hammer slamming into the chests of the two old men. This caused them to be filled with terror. The two of them didn't hesitate to retreat while screaming. Holding the middle-aged man's origin soul, Wang Lin coldly looked at the two people escaping in two different directions. He didn't personally pursue, but a shadow appeared from behind him. Ta Shan rushed out and chased after them. There was no difficulty in killing two frightened illusory yin cultivators with Ta Shan's corporeal yang celestial guard body. "Senior, please have mercy. Junior's cultivation was not easily obtained." "Senior, have mercy." The middle-aged man was scared out of his wits. His origin soul was constantly begging for mercy in Wang Lin's hand. Wang Lin's expression was cold as his left hand pressed down on the middle-aged man's origin soul. Origin energy rushed into his left hand and he began searching the origin soul's memories. The middle-aged man's origin soul was startled and started to wither. His face was filled with pain and his origin soul was trembling as if it could collapse at any time. He could clearly feel that his origin soul was being violently probed by a giant hand as if it was searching for something. The intense pain was enough for him to almost go crazy. Under this pain, he was washed over with boundless regret. This regret slowly spread across his origin soul, causing it to gradually dissipate. Sometimes, thousands of years of cultivation would turn to dust due to one wrong choice. When Wang Lin extracted the middle-aged man's memories, Wang Lin's eyes became even colder. In the end, he was like a half-unsheathed sword and monstrous killing intent built up inside him. Wang Lin muttered, "So this is how it is." At this moment, popping sounds came from the distance. Each of Ta Shan's hands was holding an origin soul and a bag when he returned. Same as before, Wang Lin used the soul-searching spell on the other two origin souls. Combining the memories of the three, Wang Lin gained a clear understanding of what happened while he was trapped. He naturally wouldn't let the origin souls of three people that offended him go. He threw them into the soul flag to be used as food for using Call the Wind. As for the three's bags of holding, Wang Lin checked them and found some magical treasures. He took them out and crushed them one by one. Then he spat out essence origin energy to turn them into liquid before fusing them into Ta Shan's body. The power of a celestial guard's body mainly came from the rare heavenly treasures mentioned in the celestial jade. However, those heavenly treasures had long since been extinct. So Wang Lin could only do the next best thing. He extracted various treasures for materials to make the celestial guard stronger and stronger. There were also 2 pieces of jade inside their bags. According to their memories, these jades were used to contact the Yarrow family. It could be said that the Yarrow family had deployed a great deal of force to deal with him. Almost every cultivator in the All-Heaven star system that was in the second step had a copy of this jade. A portrait of Wang Lin was included in the jade. Holding the 2 jades, Wang Lin had a gloomy expression. He looked into the distance. Yao! The heads of the 4 great families. What reason are they hunting me for? Wang Lin silently pondered. He had a lot of grudges against the 4 great families, especially the Yarrow family. Not only did the matter with the blood ancestor occur, there was also the incident with the young master of the Yarrow family. There was also the matter with the collection pavilion. It shouldn't be the blood ancestor. The blood ancestor knows my real name, so if it was because of the blood ancestor, then the name on the heaven order would not be Shumu, it would be Wang Lin. However, it is possible that because my real name was never used and the name Shumu is much more familiar, the Yarrow family decided to use Shumu for the heaven order. Similarly, the young master of the Yarrow family that wanted to kill Li Yun also died by my hand. With the Yarrow family's strength, they must have some spells to know about the deaths of their family members. It is unlikely because of the collection pavilion. The collapse of the Thunder Celestial Realm makes that very unlikely. As Wang Lin pondered, his heart was filled with killing intent. Heaven order. This reminds me of the 10,000 Devil 100-day kill order. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he flew forward. He turned into a meteor and rushed off among the stars. The Yarrow family is too big, so there is no safe place in the All-Heaven star system. Also, there are certainly people as strong and even stronger than the blood ancestor. Wang Lin frowned and his heart became gloomy. As he flew, ripples appeared under his feet. Half of his body had merged with the world, but he didn't use spatial bending. He kept this state as he continued to move forward. He wanted to calculate how long it would take for the Yarrow family to send people to kill him after receiving his whereabouts. Not long after, Wang Lin stopped and his eyes lit up. He saw 7 rays of sword energy charging straight at him. At the same time, there were also 7 rays of light rushing over from the left and right. 7 rays of light also rushed over from behind Wang Lin. It seemed like all directions were blocked. Wang Lin's eyes turned cold and he muttered, "From receiving the information to now, only the time for 2 incense sticks to burn has passed. It seems like the Yarrow family members are spread across the All-Heaven star system." Wang Lin's body didn't move. He swept everyone with his gaze and his eyes narrowed. That's incorrect. Not all of these people can be from the Yarrow family. Otherwise, the Yarrow family would have too many people. It is likely that the Yarrow family sent their family members across the All-Heaven system. Then they contacted the nearby cultivation planets so they can find me in a short period of time. After confirming his speculation, Wang Lin's eyes became filled with killing intent and he muttered, "I haven't slaughtered in a long time. I can't kill the old ones, but I'll kill the young ones as they come." Killing intent filled Wang Lin's body. He was originally not a kind person. Right now he was surrounded by 28 cultivators who were also filled with killing intent. It was clear they held the idea of killing him. With a sweep of his divine sense, Wang Lin clearly saw through the cultivation of the 28 cultivators. The 7 to the left were the weakest. Among these 7 rays of light, 4 of them were illusory Yi cultivators and the remaining 3 were peak ascendant cultivators, all rushing at him filled killing intent. The ripples around Wang Lin spread across his body as he took a step to the left with a cold expression. In an instant, Wang Lin's figure disappeared and the expressions of the cultivators locked onto him immediately changed. At the same time, a ripple appeared beside the 7 rays of light from the left as Wang Lin stepped out. At the moment he appeared, he raised his 2 fingers like a sword and mercilessly chopped down. A heavenly chop suddenly appeared and charged forward like an invisible blade. The 3 peak ascendant cultivators immediately let out miserable groans as their bodies collapsed and died. There were popping sounds and then a large mist of blood filled the area. The expressions of the remaining 4 changed greatly and they immediately spread out. However, in the eyes of Wang Lin, who was at the corporeal yang stage, they were too slow. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he chased after one of the illusory yin cultivators. This cultivator was a middle-aged man. Facing Wang Lin's pursuit, he revealed a vicious gaze. His hand formed a seal and the origin energy in his body surged. He was about to use an origin energy spell. Wang Lin revealed a sneer as his body flickered and he pointed forward. The middle-aged man suddenly stopped and Wang Lin charged forward. Wang Lin's foot stepped on the middle-aged man's forehead as if he was using him as a stepping stone. There was a bang, Then the middle-aged man's body exploded and his origin soul flew out in panic. However, a black mist came out from the soul flag Wang Lin had taken out and wrapped around the origin soul. All of this happened in a flash and Wang Lin had already killed 4 people. The smell of blood filled the area. At this moment, the other 3 groups quickly approached Wang Lin. Shouts and roars filled the starry sky as various magical treasures and spells were used by the cultivators, and they were all directed at Wang Lin. The most powerful attacks came from 3 people. They were all old men and their cultivations weren't any weaker than Wang Lin's. One of them was even slightly above Wang Lin, having reached the peak of the corporeal yang stage. No matter how strong Wang Lin was, if the attack of more than 20 cultivators landed on his body, if he didn't die, he would be seriously injured. However, Wang Lin's eyes were calm. His eyes revealed a cold gaze and the killing intent inside his body continued to grow. He took a step forward. When he was flying before, he wasn't unprepared. He remained half-merged with the world, as under this state he could use spatial bending even faster. With one step, Wang Lin's body disappeared and those attacks that suddenly lost their target missed. Wang Lin's body suddenly appeared behind a corporeal yang cultivator. At the moment Wang Lin appeared, he used Heavenly Chop with no hesitation. The cultivator's body trembled before he could even react. This cultivator was at the corporeal yang stage, so he activated his origin energy to resist. Just as he was forming a seal while disregarding the pain from his body, Wang Lin's finger suddenly pressed against his back. The cultivator's body collapsed with a bang. As soon as his origin soul flew out, it was caught by the soul flag. At the same time, Wang Lin took a step backward and disappeared once more. All of this happened too quickly. When the surrounding cultivators reacted, Wang Lin had already disappeared. Wang Lin had seen the path to the 3rd step and had mastered spatial bending. He could be completely invincible in a battle like this. This was how Celestial Lord Qing Shui used this to battle hundreds of cultivators without taking any damage. Wang Lin had managed to learn this from him. This bizarre killing method shocked the surrounding cultivators greatly and the peak corporeal young old man's expression became extremely gloomy. He could feel that the other party's cultivation level was about same as his and that he slightly exceeded it. However, that strange spell that the other party used made him very scared. This is definitely not teleportation or greater teleportation. The old man's expression was gloomy as he touched his bag and took out a silver bell. He immediately shook the bell. The sound of the bell ringing caused a large ripple to spread. It interfered with the origin energy around the area. There are still 22 people. Wang Lin's body flickered and appeared behind a peak late-stage ascendant cultivator. As the cultivator's pupils shrank, Wang Lin raised his hand and used Heavenly Chop. There was no sword energy, but the cultivator's body was split in half and then collapsed. As for his origin soul, it wasn't strong enough to catch Wang Lin's eye, but it was still taken by the soul flag. At the same time, Wang Lin looked gloomily at the old man ringing the bell. That treasure was a bit strange. It was able to disrupt the origin energy around the area. Although it didn't affect Wang Lin much, if it continued, it might slow Wang Lin down. With a cold snort, a shadow flickered behind Wang Lin and Tarshan stepped out. Tarshan completely ignored the surrounding cultivators and charged toward the old man. As Tarshan flew out, his right hand formed a fist and he threw a punch. His punch broke the sound barrier and rushed toward the old man. The battle with the two was extremely fierce and explosions echoed everywhere. The old man kept retreating as he used various spells, but his expression was extremely gloomy. Any spell and treasure that landed on Tarshan had no effect on him. It was as if he knew no pain and had a body of steel, and he continued to attack. At the moment Tarshan rushed out, Wang Lin took a step out. This time he didn't merge with the world but opened his mouth to allow the celestial ceiling stamp to fly out. It expanded until it was 100 feet wide and then mercilessly smashed down. The celestial ceiling stamp caused a loud roar as it smashed down. The expressions of the two cultivators under it changed and they wanted to escape. However, just then, Wang Lin said, "Seal," and large amount of seals flew off the celestial ceiling stamp. This immediately sealed all of the two cultivators' escape methods. At the same time, the stamp landed and their bodies were smashed with a bang. Even their origin souls were broken, but they didn't dissipate. Instead there was a flash of golden light and their origin souls were taken by the celestial ceiling stamp. Among the hundreds of thousands of golden runes on the celestial ceiling stamp, 2 of them became even brighter than before. It was as if they had become alive, and they were obviously different from the others. Wang Lin was a bit surprised. He didn't think the celestial sealing stamp would have such a strange effect, but it was obviously not the time to be thinking about it. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he sneered and his body disappeared, causing all of the attacks coming at him to miss. His grim sneer caused the surrounding cultivators to feel a chill in their hearts. Aside from the old man battling with Ta Shan, there were still 7 peak late-stage ascendant cultivators left. At this moment, they were truly frightened, and Shu Mu's prestige filled with hearts. Rumors of Shu Mu echoed in their hearts. The 7 panicked and then began to retreat and teleport away. They felt a lot of regret. They shouldn't have listened to the order of the Yarrow family to intercept Shu Mu. You can't escape. Wang Lin's divine sense echoed across the void. At the same time, the origin energy within the area began to distort like crazy. The 7 of them were forced out of the void from their teleportations. Wang Lin's figure rushed out like a ray of light and he passed by all 7 of them in a flash. Large amounts of blood sprayed out as Wang Lin moved through the 7 of them. There was a series of popping sounds when each of their bodies collapsed and they died. In the distance, Wang Lin paused and licked his lips. His eyes had turned red from the killing intent and he looked like a bloodthirsty demon. He stared at the cultivators not far away and softly said, "There are still 13 left." Those 13 cultivators' expressions turned pale and gloomy. They all looked at Wang Lin, and in their eyes, Wang Lin was like a wolf. Shu Mu's fame appeared in their hearts. One of the illusory yin cultivators clenched his teeth and his hand immediately formed a seal. The origin energy inside his body cycled and white light appeared before him. In a flash, the white light turned into a large sword before he coughed out essence origin energy. The large sword immediately became fierce, as if it could pierce the void. A majority of the cultivators around him also let out roars. In particular, the last corporeal young cultivator slapped his bag of holding, causing countless black needles to appear. He pointed at Wang Lin and all the needles flew toward Wang Lin. Behind him, the remaining cultivators all used their spells and rushed in without any hesitation. They were very fast and closed in almost an instant. Killing intent flashed across Wang Lin's eyes as he took a step back and disappeared without a trace. Just at the moment he disappeared, the corporeal young cultivator immediately opened his arms and shouted, "Teleport and disrupt the natural force in the area." Once he shouted this, all of the cultivators teleported in place. Once they started to teleport, their figures began to flicker in and out of existence. At the same time, a powerful ripple spread more than 1,000 feet and the space around the area began to twist. Very smart, but not enough. Wang Lin took a step. It was as if the ripple had no effect on him. When he appeared, he pressed his finger down on a cultivator who had decisively given up his body and escaped with his origin soul. This cultivator's body exploded in a mist of blood. As for his origin soul, it had already escaped more than 1,000 feet away and didn't look back. As the origin soul escaped, he shouted, "Fellow cultivator Shu Mu, from now on, no family on planet Ling Ming will participate in the matter between you and the Yarrow family. Please let me go." Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he didn't chase. At this moment, the corporeal young cultivator let out a roar and the black needles let out a black glow. They stabbed toward Wang Lin like rain. While Wang Lin sneered, he lifted his right hand and the Wither Dao pair appeared. An evil aura filled the air and grey light appeared on the black needles. In an instant, they turned into stone. At the same time, grey light appeared at the feet of 3 people, including the corporeal young cultivator. Wang Lin stepped forward and pointed at each of their foreheads. Their bodies all exploded and they died. Still 9 left. Wang Lin's voice was filled with endless coldness. While all the cultivators were filled with terror, he disappeared once more. At this moment, aside from the old man, who was still battling Ta Shan, the remaining 8 people didn't hesitate to give up. Compared to the benefits the Yarrow family promised, their lives were much more important. It was clear Shu Mu was not someone they could fight against. Just by using that strange spell, no matter how many they had, Shu Mu would remain invincible. Unless their cultivation levels were extremely high, it would be very difficult to kill Shu Mu. The 8 people didn't hesitate. They quickly retreated and went in 8 different directions. Not only did the killing intent in Wang Lin's eyes not reduce, it became even stronger. His aura was like a flood as the 8 people escaped. He took a step forward and disrupted the fluctuations of origin energy around the area, causing the 8 of them unable to be teleport for a quick escape. With a thought, the celestial sealing stamp chased after one person. As for the Wither Dao pair, it charged after one person as well. At the same time, Wang Lin slapped his bag of holding and the celestial sword appeared. Shu Ligua appeared, and without Wang Lin giving any command, he let out a strange cry as he changed after one of the escaping cultivators. Shu Ligua had some fear in his heart. Although he had inherited the ancient sword intent, he had never fought an illusory yin cultivator. At this moment, he was crying in his head, "Damn it, going all out, going all out." 3 treasures started chasing after 3 different people. Wang Lin took a step forward and disappeared. In almost an instant, Wang Lin appeared beside an escaping cultivator. The cultivator's expression was filled with fear and he was about to speak when Wang Lin pressed down between the person's eyebrows with his corporeal yang cultivation. As soon as he withdrew his finger, he disappeared again. A moment later, the celestial sealing stamp and wither Dao pair returned as well. Only Shu Ligua hadn't returned. He cursed while controlling the celestial sword to attack. The illusory yin cultivator had an extremely gloomy expression. He didn't want to get entwined with this sword spirit. Seeing his escaping companions die one by one made the fear in his heart reach a limit. The curse from the sword spirit made him very annoyed. He activated the origin energy in his body and caused a collapse that knocked Shu Ligua away. He didn't want to fight, and he flew away 1,000 feet and was about to teleport away. However, the moment he teleported, his pupils shrank as Wang Lin's fingers had already landed between his eyebrows. The person collapsed and his origin soul was captured. Wang Lin's expression was indifferent as his gaze swept past Shu Ligua and he coldly said, "I don't need weaklings." Shu Ligua's heart felt cold and he quickly patted his chest as he flattered, "Master, rest assured, I." Without waiting for Shu Ligua to finish speaking, Wang Lin was already rushing toward where Tarshan was battling. "You're the only one left." A voice filled with killing intent spread like the wind. The old man battling Tarshan revealed a bitter expression. Just at this moment, a thick ray of sword right rushed over with an aura as it was going to tear space itself open. The corporeal young old man battling Tarshan relaxed a bit and thought, "The Yarrow family is finally here and I have completed my mission of intercepting Shu Mu." A person appeared from inside the ray of sword energy. He was same young man that appeared when the middle-aged man crushed the jade. His eyes were filled with killing intent and there was even a small amount of hidden excitement in them. "Shu Mu, I didn't think that I, Yarrow Changdong, would meet you. I'll be able to obtain great merit for this." Part 200. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. When he was killing those people, he noticed that there was no one from the Yarrow family among them. They were merely tempted by the reward the Yarrow family offered. No matter how many of these people he killed, the Yarrow family wouldn't be hurt. If he really wanted to hurt the Yarrow family, he must kill Yarrow family members. Since the Yarrow family wants to kill me, then I'll first extinguish the Yarrow family members. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and the killing intent in them increased. The Yarrow family member rushing over had already broken through the yin and yang stage and was at the Nirvana Scryer stage. Early stage Nirvana Scryer. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with battle intent. Ever since he reached the corporeal yang stage, he hadn't battled a real Nirvana Scryer cultivator. At this moment, he was filled with killing intent, but at the same time, endless battle intent filled his heart as well. As the sword energy closed in, Wang Lin quickly rushed forward. He had to deal with this corporeal yang cultivator before the other one arrived. If the two of them teamed up, Wang Lin would immediately be at a disadvantage. The corporeal young old man relaxed and didn't hesitate to retreat. He no longer wanted to battle Tarshan, as he had completed his task. All he had to do was help the Yarrow family member complete his task and then obtain the reward. Just as he started retreating, Tarshan chased after the old man under Wang Lin's order. His fist shined brightly as he continued to bombard the old man. A thunderous rumble echoed across the stars as the corporeal young old man kept retreating while using spells to block the blows. Wang Lin's eyes glowed red and he rushed toward the ray of sword energy that belonged to the Yarrow family member. He was like a meteor and he charged very far in a flash. Yarrow Changdong revealed a grin. There was even a hint of contempt on his face, and he flew even faster. When the corporeal young cultivator saw this scene, he felt peace of mind. However, he was still cautious as Wang Lin's strange movement had caused a chill to appear in his heart. Since that Yarrow family member has arrived, Shu Mu shouldn't have time to deal with me. The old man continued to retreat from Tarshan's attacks. His eyes flickered as he looked at Wang Lin charging toward Yarrow Changdong. The farther he was from Wang Lin, the more relaxed he became. However, just at this moment, Tarshan's body began to shine dozens of times brighter than before. This golden glow was too strong. If a mortal saw it, they would immediately go blind. Even cultivators would feel their eyes hurt. Although the old man was at the corporeal yang stage, he was too close to Ta Shan. At this moment, the old man's pupils shrank and he wasn't able to see clearly. Just as his divine sense was about to spread out, Ta Shan's fierce attack arrived, forcing the old man to focus on dealing with Ta Shan. Just at the moment the old man's eyes were blocked by the golden glow, Wang Lin took a step forward while charging toward Yarou Changdong. Ripples appeared under his feet and Wang Lin disappeared. At the moment he disappeared, although the corporeal young old man couldn't see, his mind trembled and his eyes twitched. He didn't hesitate to activate the origin energy inside his body and push it out like crazy, forming a large amount of origin energy collapse. A vortex was formed from all the origin energy. However, it was still a step too late. Wang Lin's figure had appeared behind the old man right as the vortexes appeared. His fingers were filled with origin energy and he mercilessly attacked. The old man's origin energy vortex hadn't formed when Wang Lin's finger landed on the old man's back. The old man's face turned pale and he refrained himself from coughing out blood. As the origin energy swept through his body, he wanted to use Wang Lin's attack to escape. Just at this moment, Ta Shan's body shined brightly and the tattoo on his forehead melted into his right fist. Just as the old man was about to escape, Ta Shan's fist landed on him. This fist caused a series of sonic booms that echoed across the stars. The old man was worthy of being a peak corporeal young cultivator. He spat out a mouthful or origin energy during this moment of crisis and created a shield. Ta Shan's fist landed on the shield, causing it to shatter, and the old man was thrown backwards. The old man's eyes were filled with resentment as he couldn't keep the blood back anymore and coughed out a mouthful of blood. However, his body turned into a bloody shadow and he quickly merged with the blood before him. His figure became ghost-like and he somehow managed to escape from Wang Lin and Ta Shan's combined attack. Wang Lin's expression was gloomy. As the old man used the blood to escape, he raised his right hand and chopped down. The heavenly chop immediately shot out and the escaping blood shadow was split in half. The peak corporeal young old man let out a miserable scream. His origin soul was wrapped in a bloodlight and it escaped, abandoning his body. All of this happened in a flash. Wang Lin had no time to pursue, so he raised his hand and formed a seal. The celestial sealing stamp immediately appeared before him to form a shield. Yarou Chandong's sword energy suddenly changed directions and landed directly on the celestial sealing stamp. When the celestial sealing stamp blocked it, an earth-shattering sound echoed across the area. Wang Lin's expression was normal, but the energy inside his body was rampaging. Under the impact of the sword energy, the celestial sealing stamp was forced back and Wang Lin was forced back with it. Only after he retreated 100 feet was he able to slow down. Yarou family's third generation Yarou Changdong. After the ray of light disappeared, a young man dressed in white looked proudly at Wang Lin. Under his feet was a 30-foot-long sword. Wang Lin had never seen such a large flying sword. It emitted a dense sword energy that could shatter space. Shu Mu, meeting me is your misfortune. If you had met another member of my Yarou family, they may have accepted your pleads for forgiveness. However, before I, Yarou Changdong, your begging is useless. Yarou Changdong looked extremely proud and thought, I have to finish this before Yarou Bingyun gets here. Otherwise, the credit will be stolen by that cold woman. Wang Lin's expression was calm and eyes were cold. He had already noticed that the cultivators of the All-Heaven star system all had a high sense of pride. This kind of pride was formed by the cultivation family model here. This was very different from all the fighting and scheming in the Alliance star system. Wang Lin nodded slightly as he clasped his hands as if he was about to speak. However, at this moment, essence origin energy came out of his mouth to form an illusory sword that rushed toward Yarou Changdong with extreme speed. At the same time, Wang Lin took a step forward and disappeared into the void. The sword formed by the essence origin energy was too fast and closed in on Yarou Changdong in an instant. Yarou Changdong's eyes lit up and he let out a cold snort. His right hand formed a seal and pressed forward. A flash of green light came from his hand and it turned into a skull that attempted to devour the sword. Just as he rose his right hand, a ripple appeared behind him and Wang Lin stepped out. Wang Lin's 2 fingers pressed down. He didn't even look at the result and disappeared once more. Yarou Changdong's expression became gloomy. The moment Wang Lin appeared, he suddenly turned around and 2 rays of light shot out from his eyes. However, the 2 lights didn't hit Wang Lin and flew through the void. Just at this moment, the celestial sealing stamp suddenly began to rotate, and it smashed toward Yarou Changdong with immense pressure. Hundreds of golden runes flashed on the celestial sealing stamp and flew out one by one. The endless golden runes rushed toward Yarou Changdong to seal him. Just as Yarou Changdong looked up with a gloomy expression, Wang Lin once again appeared beside him and sent out a heavenly chop. Yarou Changdong quickly turned but still missed. Wang Lin's figure was like a ghost as the celestial sealing stamp smashed down. He would constantly appear next to Yarou Changdong and only use one attack before disappearing again. As a result, Yarou Changdong's expression became increasingly gloomy. Although Wang Lin's attacks weren't too strong for him, he still had to pay attention. Every time Wang Lin appeared, he would have to react immediately. However, he couldn't even touch Wang Lin's shadow. This kind of strange method of fighting made him very frustrated. Although Yarou Changdong hadn't been in a lot of fights, the number was absolutely not little, but never had he had a fight like this. After Wang Lin spat out that mouthful of essence origin energy and he lifted his hand to dissipate it, he had lost his initiative. He had to constantly be on guard and could never take the initiative to attack. Just as he was about to recover and was ready to rush out to retaliate with his spell, the 100-foot stamp arrived. This made Yarou Changdong even more irritated. At this moment, the rumbling sound became even stronger and countless golden runes flew toward him. There was also that ghostly figure that kept attacking him. Yarou Changdong's eyes were filled with killing intent. His hand formed a seal and the large sword under him emitted powerful sword intent. The large sword split into 19 smaller swords that began to rotate to form a strange sword array. Then the sword array suddenly charged out. When the 19 swords charged out, dense origin energy spread out from the sword array, creating a storm. The sword formation spun around Yarou Changdong, and the origin energy within the area began to twist and Wang Lin appeared 1,000 feet away. Wang Lin's eyes were cold as he stared ahead. Seal. A shout came from Wang Lin. At the same time, more golden runes charged out even faster through the vortex formed by the sword array. The celestial sealing stamp smashed down with a loud rumble. Inside the sword array, Yarou Changdong's veins bulged. He suddenly raised his head and his hand formed a seal. The sword array spun even faster and he pointed upwards. The sword array immediately charged out and met the celestial sealing stamp that was smashing down. There was a loud bang and the descending celestial sealing stamp paused. Yarou Changdong immediately took a step and was about to leave the range of the celestial sealing stamp. However, just at this moment, Ta Shan appeared next to him and began a bombardment of punches. Killing intent flashed across Wang Lin's eyes as his right hand reached out and the celestial sword appeared in his grasp. Shu Ligua had already returned to the sword. Wang Lin raised the celestial sword and the origin energy inside his body surged and mercilessly chopped down. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 10 times, 20 times. 20 heavenly chops consumed most of Wang Lin's origin energy. However, they instantly condensed into a huge ray of sword energy and flew out. The ray of sword energy, that could destroy law and seemed tear apart space itself, shot out toward Yarou Changdong. Yarou Changdong revealed a fierce expression as the sword array spun rapidly and collided with Ta Shan's fist. Ta Shan's face immediately became pale, but he didn't retreat and instead threw another punch. Just at this moment, the heavenly chop arrived and landed on the vortex around Yarou Changdong. It broke through the vortex and charged toward Yarou Changdong. At the same time, a large amount of golden runes charged in through the opening created by the heavenly chop and quickly sealed Yarou Changdong. After using the heavenly chop, Wang Lin didn't stop. He took a step and disappeared. When he reappeared, he was above the celestial sealing stamp, and he sat down on it. Both of his hands formed a seal and he pressed down to the side. The celestial sealing stamp was filled with all of Wang Lin's origin energy, and it smashed down toward Yarou Changdong. At this moment, the seal, the heavenly chop, Ta Shan's punch, and the celestial sealing stamp all rushed at Yarou Changdong at the same time. When the celestial sealing stamp landed, there was a bang that echoed across the stars. The loud sound was so loud that everyone within tens of thousands of kilometers could hear this sound that was like a cultivation planet collapsing. A roar of anger exploded from under the celestial sealing stamp. A terrifying and suffocating aura suddenly began to spread like crazy. The moment the celestial sealing stamp smashed down, it was pushed away by this force. The countless golden runes were torn up by this force and were constantly forced back. Popping sounds came from Ta Shan's fist and his right fist was smashed. Even half of his body was affected by the ripple and he was thrown far away. At this moment, the elegant and prideful Yarou Changdong had vanished. His hair was disheveled, his clothes were in tatters, and his eyes were filled with anger. There was a fist-sized bead before his body. Calling it a bead was a bit inappropriate, It was more like the core of a cultivator. It was this core that absorbed all the attacks from before and allowed Yarou Changdong to only be in a sorry state but not suffer the slightest injury. You are the second person that has forced to me use the celestial pill the ancestor gave me. Yarou Changdong almost gnashed his teeth. His killing intent for Wang Lin was no longer coming from the heaven order from the family but the anger in his heart. He had never been in such a disadvantageous situation in his whole life. From the sneak attack at the start, he had no chance to retaliate and was forced to passively defend. Due to that strange spell, Yarou Changdong was forced into a dangerous situation. Wang Lin's expression was gloomy. As he retreated, he slapped his bag of holding and immediately took out the soul flag. He immediately grabbed 2 illusory yin origin souls and devoured them. As origin energy filled his body, he stared at the core before Yarou Changdong and his eyes turned cold. Wang Lin held an advantage earlier and didn't allow Yarou Changdong to retaliate at all. Everything was set up for the kill, but in the end it still failed. Wang Lin clearly understood the difference between corporeal yang and nirvana scryer cultivators now. Wang Lin was confident the situation he had set up could kill any corporeal yang cultivator, but Yarou Changdong wasn't injured at all. Although that core played a large role, even if that core wasn't there, Yarou Changdong must have had other spells. A family that has an inheritance from the celestial realm must have a lot of celestial spells. Yarou Changdong's eyes revealed a fierce expression. His right hand formed a seal and the core began revolving around his body. At the same time, his left hand formed a seal and he shouted, "Celestial spell, void collap." Wang Lin didn't hesitate to retreat. As he retreated, the space where he was at collapsed and caused a powerful impact. This scene caused Wang Lin's pupils to shrink. Celestial spell, imagine collapse. Yarou Changdong's hand formed a seal and he revealed a cruel expression. Violent collapses continued to echo. Wang Lin couldn't pause for a moment as the collapses chased closely after him. Wang Lin's expression was gloomy, but was also calm. Ripples appeared under his feet and then he disappeared without a trace. He instantly appeared 100 feet behind Yarou Changdong and a heavenly chop flew at Yarou Changdong. However, just as the heavenly chop closed in on Yarou Changdong, the core suddenly appeared and collided with it. The moment it touched the heavenly chop, it absorbed the power of the heavenly chop. Celestial spell, 19 souls. Yarou Changdong jerked around, revealed a grin, and spat out a mouthful of white mist. Bursts of miserable screams came from the mist. There were 19 babies inside the mist. These babies were completely black. They were monsters as they rushed toward Wang Lin along with the mist. There was a flash of cold light in Wang Lin's eyes. He took a step backwards and merged with the world. The 19 souls missed, then they returned back to Yarou Changdong and revolved around him. Yarou Changdong's face revealed a fierce expression. He didn't hesitate to reach out toward the core and shout, "I'm willing to be punished by the ancestor for losing this core to break your spell." As he spoke, he crushed the core and a destructive aura spread out like a storm from the core. This force was too powerful. As it spread, the origin energy within 100,000 feet began to twist and distort. The origin energy in the world was no longer in balance. It was as if a large pair of hands was constantly stirring it up. Anyone who was merged inside must leave as soon as possible unless they had a spell to counteract the fluctuations. Wang Lin appeared 1,000 feet away. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he raised his right hand and pointed at the void. The withered Dao pair quickly appeared. The ferocious beast bone gave off a ghostly flash and a powerful evil aura filled the world. Yarou Changdong's expression changed slightly and both of his hands formed a seal. The 19 babies began to spin rapidly around Yarou Changdong and formed an illusion around Yarou Changdong. This was an illusion of a large baby. After it appeared, it let out a roar. However, it only let out half a roar before its body was covered by grey light and it turned into stone in an instant. Wang Lin took this opportunity to retreat and immediately took out 2 illusory yin origin souls. After devouring them, he immediately raised his right hand and shouted, "Call the wind." The black wind roared and gathered around his right hand. It instantly expanded and dense, black wind appeared around Wang Lin. Just at this moment, the petrified baby collapsed and Yarou Changdong walked out without any injuries. He stared at the black wind around Wang Lin and sneered. "Only this much power? Today will you without a doubt die." Just as he finished speaking, Wang Lin waved his hand and the black wind charged out. The black wind swept across the stars and turned into a black dragon. It opened its mouth and blasted out cold wind. Yarou Changdong initially didn't consider the wind a threat, but his body felt cold and it felt like his origin soul was about to collapse. He immediately retreated in shock, but the black wind chased closely after him. Frightened, Yarrow Changdong saw that he was about to be surrounded by the black wind, but his hand quickly formed a seal and he shouted, "Celestial spell, cloud calamity." Thunderous rumbles appeared out of nowhere and clouds surrounded Yarrow Changdong. Lightning flashed between the clouds, forming a comprehensive shield. However, under the wind blasted out by the black dragon, the clouds dissipated, revealing the terrified Yarrow Changdong. What celestial spell is this? Yarrow Changdong's body trembled as he clenched his teeth and spat out a mouthful of essence origin energy. His right hand quickly moved over it and he shouted, "Blood Soul, 6 cycles." After using this spell, Yarrow Changdong's expression turned pale. This Blood Soul celestial spell was imparted by the ancestor, Blood God. It was said to be one of the greatest spells of their celestial ancestor. At its peak, it could reach 19 cycles, but with Yarrow Changdong's current cultivation level, he could only manage 6 cycles, and even then it would consume most of his origin energy. The blood quickly began to move and it formed a vortex before charging into the sky. Like a scarlet whirlwind, it created a powerful force that collided with the wind. The two forces quickly cancelled each other out. Yarrow Changdong stared at the flickering Wang Lin. He clenched his teeth as he slapped his bag of holding and a talisman appeared in his hand. "With the talisman the ancestor gave me, no matter how many spells you have, you will without a doubt die." He raised his hand and the talisman immediately flew out. There was a complex rune formed by red ink on the talisman. Yarrow Changdong's hand formed a seal as he bit his tongue and sprayed blood directly on the talisman. In an instant, the talisman was dyed blood red and the rune seemed to come to life. A strange light came from the talisman and a strange, green flame began to burn at the corner of the talisman. "Emperor Celestial Talisman, kill this person." Yarrow Changdong pointed at Wang Lin, and his voice revealed his ferociousness. The talisman flashed and charged out. It penetrated through the blood soul vortex and the cold wind. It didn't suffer any damage and went straight toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's pupils suddenly shrank. He was very familiar with this talisman as it was almost identical to the two he had. At this moment, an aura that shocked Wang Lin's mind came from the talisman. This aura was extremely terrifying. "I can't resist." All the hair on Wang Lin's body stood up and he felt a sense of crisis envelop him. He retreated without hesitation, but not only did the talisman not scatter, it moved even faster. Under this moment of crisis, Wang Lin slapped his bag of holding without hesitation and the god-slaying war chariot flew out. He pointed at Yarrow Changdong and then also took out a talisman. Copying Yarrow Changdong, he also bit the tip of his tongue and spat out essence blood. The essence blood caused the talisman to also shine and burned brightly. It collided with the talisman Yarrow Changdong threw out and it set off a huge shockwave. The talisman Wang Lin threw out immediately collapsed and turned to dust. However, Yarrow Changdong's talisman didn't completely dissipate, a fingernail-sized portion still remained. It moved at an incredible speed and landed between Wang Lin's eyebrows. Wang Lin's body trembled. He felt heat from between his eyebrows as if a flame was burning. An unimaginable sealing power spread across his body like crazy. In the blink of an eye, his origin energy and origin soul were completely sealed. This is the Chosen Immortal clan's tattoo power. But how can the tattoo of the Chosen Immortal clan be so strong? Wang Lin sucked in a breath of cold air and his eyes were filled with terror. All of the origin energy inside his body was suddenly sealed. Right now he was like a mortal. His body immediately became very weak. If Ta Shan hadn't allowed Wang Lin to sit on his left arm, Wang Lin would have immediately fallen into the endless space. Beside him, the god-slaying war chariot turned into the butterfly. It gently flapped its wings and looked harmless. Yarrow Changdong laughed. Without origin energy, all of Wang Lin's treasures had lost their effect and Call the Wind had also disappeared. Yarrow Changdong's 2 fingers from his right hand formed a sword and he charged straight at Wang Lin. "A mere corporeal young cultivator dares to fight with me. Shu Mu, die." As Yarrow Changdong laughed, his speed was shocking and he charged straight toward Wang Lin. His fingers were filled with origin energy, and if they landed on Wang Lin, not only would Wang Lin's body collapse, even his origin soul would be destroyed. Just as Yarrow Changdong closed in, the butterfly gently flapped its wings. Although it didn't have Wang Lin's origin energy anymore, it was obviously different from other treasures. Once it was activated, it could operate by itself. Yarrow Changdong's body paused and his chest exploded, causing him to be thrown backwards. He managed to stop himself after 100 feet, but the butterfly immediately flapped its wings once more. Yarou Changdong's eyes were filled with killing intent. Just as the butterfly flapped its wings, he took out another talisman. This time he didn't throw it out and pressed it between his own eyebrows. A powerful fluctuation of tattoo power came out from the talisman and diffused into Yarou Changdong's body. Soon, a large amount of tattoos appeared around Yarou Changdong. Popping sounds echoed. Every time the butterfly flapped its wings, a large amount of tattoos would collapse. However, he continued to rush over and once again closed in on Wang Lin. I must kill Shu Mu. He is only at the corporeal yang stage and is already so powerful. Once he reaches the Nirvana Scrya stage, I will not be his opponent. This video will end here.